Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the treacherous caverns of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, and I am joined as ever by Robbie El Pollo Diablo Bellekom, Sam El Perro Politico Burns, and Ellie Il Porco Penumbro Sparrow.
Yay! What does that mean?
I think it means the shadow pig.
The shadow pig.
Sounds about right. I mean, I don't know much.
Yeah.
It has been a long time since I did Spanish, and when I did Spanish, I didn't learn much. Just
I'm pretty
to annoy
sure Il
my Spanish
Porco
teacher.
is Italian as well, so...
It got to a point with that Spanish teacher where I was purposely not taking things in, just to irritate her, if I'm honest. Which was counterproductive for, my later life, when I didn't know any fucking Spanish.
Yeah.
Teenagers are dicks.
Who, the only thing I remember from Spanish was that she had a bamboo plant on her desk, and she had a thick accent. When she said the word bamboo, it came out like man boob.
Oh, wow.
Very upset if anyone tried to touch her man boob.
I've got to say, I remember getting a B in Spanish and being okay at it, but it's all gone now.
I was weirdly I got okay marks, but I do remember bombing in my speaking test. You had to talk about like a robbery that you'd seen, and all I could remember was the word for robber. So they were like, "What did you see in the robbery?" And I was like,
I saw the robbers.
A robber. Un ladrón, if you're curious.
I feel particularly embarrassed because I regularly work with Spanish
Oh,
game
you do
developers
as well, don't you?
And I'm so bad at Spanish.
Oh, no.
It's so embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassment, it's time for us to gaze into the mists of time and ask, future us, are we less embarrassed in the present?
Sadly not. It's Future Sam here with a message and an apology from the present. As you've probably already heard, the sound quality on Robbie's end was a little bit different this episode. This was, we think, a mic issue, and we have solved it, but this wasn't something we were able to pick up until we actually got to editing. Apologies for any inconvenience, but just know it should be back to normal as of the next episode.
And an extra hello from future Jason, just to say thank you to our stowaways on the Discord server, who submitted, for reasons that will become apparent, some curious names. Look out for the poster that appears later in the episode. In particular, thank you to Cora, Sharp Snooter, Res Faber, and Gerbshaus for submitting names. And as for whether we're less embarrassed in the present, probably not.
Probably not, no. I intend to be embarrassing for the rest of time.
Speaking of embarrassment, it's time to engage this embarrassment of riches that is... I'm just going to stop trying to use this. What am I doing? Oh, this is so embarrassing!
Oh, no.
Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains, brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs, the party continue their adventures in the city, the penultimate wing of the Cirrus Citadel. Having uncovered a conspiracy at the heart of the city, a core of as it turned out, vampiric corruption. In the city's oldest and most well-placed resident, the grade 6 citizen Magnus Redfolder, the party engaged him in a brutal fight for their lives. Nearly nearly had their in the case of Celestia and Corzin, nearly had their spirits permanently ripped from them. With Corzin actually temporarily losing the fish spirits and ambivalent octopus until you were able to damage the spirit trap enough to impair its magical magic disrupting aura, and then after teleporting back to safety, shatter it, freeing the spirits trapped within. However, Magnus remains technically at large, though distinctly changed by the experience. Celestia turned her magic on him and robbed him of his speech, his eloquence, and indeed his probably quite a lot of his higher brain functions, rendering him bestial and animalistic in nature. Along with, it seemed, the coterie of mostly fellow vampires under his thrall. You destroyed 2 of those vampires, turning them to dust. However, Magnus himself appeared to escape, and you also escaped before the remainder of them could bring you to any potential doom. Now, in a potentially a slight retcon from last time, I'm going to lay a couple of things. As before, you reappear back at the safe house that has been newly constructed by Scamp. You have all the key events still happen. The spirit trap is utterly destroyed. The spirits are released. You send some messages via sending to the hospital, or at least to the chief surgeon of the hospital, who possibly at that point was in bed, warning them of the possibility of the dead rising now that spirits have been released. I will also note, I think I forgot to mention it, but as elsewhere in Calcinea, upon the destruction of the 2 vampires last session, you again saw shadowy spirits emerge out of the crumbling forms of dust.
Cool.
So they do appear to be following the standard, what you are used to seeing with undead in that way. Indeed, I will even say that it felt more like the dust fell away from them, leaving a shadow behind that then dissipated or flickered away. Now, here is the slight change. As before, you were greeted by Shanti posing as an administrator, who comes in along with Lo Bei, the half-orc warden, I believe is the term I used, and defender, thank you, half-orc defender, and her spirit dog. Now, what Shanti tells you is mostly the same. The actual the penthouse is obviously destroyed, and people and it looks like it has been warded off by magistrates and enforcers. I will say that she wasn't able to get a look, but she got some information asking what was going on for the records, which she passed on about it having been abandoned. Seemingly abandoned, and some sort of hidden chamber being mentioned as being discovered, but not much more than that. At this point, I'm going to say that Lo Bei kicks in. I'm glad you're all alive. Astonished, but glad.
So are we.
You too.
have you left this building? Have you made any contact with anyone, told anyone where you are?
No.
No.
Good. Right now, you are the most wanted people in the city.
Oh, not again.
Shocker.
The word on the street is that you were last seen going up to Magnus Redfolder's penthouse with him. Shortly before it exploded, a series of what appeared to be a storm started coming out of it, and then he vanished without a trace, along with you. You are wanted for his kidnapping and possible murder.
Suppose if you don't know the situation, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Shanti winces. Yeah, I was going to mention that, but Lobe got in there first.
Well, it's not our first time, is it? We'll be fine.
Alright, we've got to track him down then and fast.
Yeah. But also, we've got to fucking rest first.
Yeah, Victory puts up a hand like, after we get our shit together, please, because I don't know about you, I am fucked right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sober, so we should probably wait till that's a thing. Also, I need to fucking sleep at some point.
Yeah, we've got to we just got to take some time to recover here, but we can let's get as prepped as we can while we can. Though.
Also, we should keep watch.
Yeah, they'll be looking for us.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, you get first watch.
It's the worst sound ever. It's just the worst noise. It's
so
amazing.
I'm going to say you have your 8-hour rest, Mick. Some of which is spent sleeping, others which in light activity. Basically, if you've got an opportunity here to ask, I guess Lobe at least, strategic questions, because Lobe is the only person here who can answer them about the city at this point, to do any prep, identify any unidentified items, anything like that, that you want to do before you make your way out. You also, if you've got any plans, you want to discuss any plans, this is also the time as well. So all of this bit can be said to be following at some point during the following long rest.
Yeah, we can do in between watches for talking to each other or whatever. Yeah, we can make that work.
Yeah.
Anyone have things? How are we all doing?
How are they going to be looking for us?
Well, Lobe kicks in. As a general rule, defenders wouldn't be called in. This is an internal matter, so it will be magistrates and enforcers. They're likely to be combing the city, asking around, looking for clues, as well as identifying the crime scene itself. Did you leave any traces of your passage between there and here?
What kind of traces?
I don't know.
No, we didn't walk.
No, we didn't.
And they wouldn't be able to pick it up through you flying or however.
No, it was a magic thing.
We didn't fly.
We were here, then we were there. It's just,
Lobe has a moment of brief confusion on her face, then shakes her head.
They're very clever. Don't worry about it.
Right. The most important thing then would be don't commit any crimes.
Right.
They will home in on crimes that are committed.
Like more so than usual?
They always do, but they're going to be on high alert.
Well, provided us being here... Yeah. Provided us being here doesn't count as either loitering or squatting, I think we'll be alright.
No, I was told we were allowed.
Yeah, actually, they said that, didn't they? They said you could stay
Which doesn't
here.
mean that people know we're here, or we've been staying here. But there isn't that as a problem.
Right.
Do you know how many people know? Do you trust them?
One person, but I met him today, so. No.
Hard to know.
I suppose I'll help keep watch then.
I'll put a circle over the door.
Good idea.
Yeah, I have like one spell slot left before we rest. I'm going to cast Magic Circle.
You do that. Victory takes some time with her wand and a bit of string to set up a basic alarms spell over the door as well.
Specifically to keep out undead.
Oh, well done.
An excellent choice.
A very good choice. So, what are we looking for when we go out then?
I
You
don't
said there were
know.
chambers.
Yeah, so what I heard was that they'd found some chambers and a ladder that went down, but they didn't gossip more than that.
In Magnus's place.
Yeah.
Well, that's the place then, isn't it? Lobe, did you see how guarded that place was? Obviously very, because it's a crime scene, but...
I believe that they will have one magistrate and a full squad of enforcers there.
How big's a full squad?
7.
Okay.
Double checking. Sorry, 6.
Right.
7 if you include the magistrate.
Right, gotcha.
Not necessarily a nightmare.
We know it's going down. Do we know how far down? Like, is it in the building or is it below? Because if it's below, we don't need to go to the crowd shoot. We just need to get underneath it.
We have a point.
We can find other ways in.
I didn't hear a lot of details, but they did say it just kept going down, so probably all the way down.
Down to the sewer system?
We don't really... We have sewage systems, but they're only large enough for a person to really get down there in certain places. A lot of the time, the administrators or the civil engineers will use large pumps to flood water from the rivers and canals through those sort of sections. So we don't tend to need to get people down very often.
Right.
Right, so it couldn't be used as a means of getting about without
it
being
could.
seen. Wait, no, they can turn into mist, can't they?
No, but also
We
we
don't know
can breathe
that's
underwater.
True.
true. We don't
How
know what's
dangerous would it
actually
be?
down there. We just know that people don't go down. So
Yeah.
there could be bits that are bigger. Very
I mean-
easily.
We can breathe underwater.
That's true.
I still don't know if it'd be too dangerous with the, like heavy water flow or whatever, but it's not necessarily a limitation in the way that it is for other people.
That is true.
There is... Wait. And I'll actually say... Lobe is the one who would say this, and she would say this because it's literally happened yesterday. Of course, there has also been Quaker activity under the city.
Yeah.
We had the collapse in the mines.
Are those
Yeah.
very bad then?
Well, they tend to leave tunnels in their wake.
So there might be tunnels. That's useful. There also might be Quakers in them.
That would make sense. Alright.
I'm going to keep giggling at that name and it's terrible, but I just can't stop myself.
They cause quakes.
Yeah,
Burrow through the earth and then assemble quietly in chambers.
it's remarkably accurate.
Have a nice little think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright,
I'm
Corzin?
going on because I'm picturing that scenario, but because I don't actually know what Quakers look like, I've just made them like giant moles. It's like an adorable mole gathering.
yeah.
Doing what
imagining
like
a
people
bunch of,
Quakers
like-
do, but also with
Yeah.
digging and like killing people. and they're big
Subterranean
moles.
tea party.
Yeah.
Underground, overground, rampaging through.
fucking dumb.
With that in mind, actually, though, Corzin is going to try and... I don't know, would this be a nature check to try and predict the activities of a predatory bestial creature in a city?
Oh, yes.
That's an
Okay.
interesting thing.
Because thinking about it, like, if it's a bestial creature now, it's going to want to, find prey, and where's the easiest place to get prey? Okay, that's going to be a 24.
Okay, so you're looking... I want to clarify, you're thinking in terms of, like, Magnus, not the Quakers.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of Magnus and his
I'm
vampire
glad that we
buddies.
clarified that, because I was
Yeah.
still stuck on the Quakers, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
I was
I hadn't
still
No,
on
that's fair.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking if the Quaker tunnels are a means of getting around underneath the city.
They're absolutely sensible. I was just
Yeah.
still in weird Quaker land.
Totally fine.
Moved
Totally fine.
on.
Think for a moment.
Yep.
You put yourself in the mind space of a predatory bestial creature. A predatory bestial creature. You imagine yourself driven by your basest urges, driven by the urge to, and you kind of like start thinking in terms of what are your basest urges? To eat, to remain safe, to strike back at threats, to potentially to even to reproduce or to find or to find others of your kind to gather them together. You are wounded. You need time to recover. You need to build up your strength. You're going to strike. You ideally want to strike somewhere that can fulfill a lot of these needs. You need to hit somewhere where there's lots of food, but it needs to be somewhere that the dangerous people, the threats to you, won't be able to go or won't be able to see. Somewhere hidden, somewhere maybe somewhere illicit. You need and preferably somewhere contained. You don't want to be seen, so you're so instinctually you feel like you're not going to do anywhere that's public exactly. But if you knew, you still remember everything you just don't have, you no longer have speech or planning, but you know everything you know. So so maybe hidden, illicit gathering.
Right.
We're going to a boxing match, aren't we?
Well, it was either that or whatever this place's equivalent of the Silken Sail is.
Well, we've been told about illicit fighting.
Better than what
No,
I
it's
thought. I
okay.
thought of a hospital.
I did actually consider that, although there'd be... I mean, the
It would be a
hospital
bit
is
more
one...
guarded, I guess.
Yeah,
And
and it's also
just more public.
It is public.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas
it's a place where
Corzin,
you'd
weren't
notice
you-
if people went missing.
Yeah, and weren't you told about like underground fighting rings?
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, somebody mentioned those, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd
that
do
seems
it,
like a
wouldn't
good
it?
bet.
The halfling miner who you rescued, in fact.
Yep.
Right.
He mentioned, and I think gave me a reasonable suggestion of how to get there as well.
He did. Do you need a reminder?
Yes, just in terms of like where it is in the city.
He suggested checking around midnight at the stage entrance to the Rosewood Theatre.
Perfect. Yes,
Wow.
because that was a thing. Yeah.
Oh, is
Alright.
Dickhead going to be there? Oh, I hate her. She makes me so angry. Dickhead being Fulvio Crest. We're not sure. I've renamed her. Her name's Dickhead now.
She's like Prosecco in human form.
She's like Lambrini in human form. Let's be real. Ugh, hate her. Anyway.
Alright.
Well, at least we know where that is, I suppose. That's something.
Yeah, well, that's
Definitely the first place I'd look.
Enforcers don't know it happens. We should probably get me a fucking cloak or something.
Yes. Let's see.
I
what
mean,
we
all
got
of
here.
us to a degree.
Yeah,
'cause-
all of us. All of us.
I
Have you
mean,
seen any other tieflings here?
No.
like, if we had, like, 2-3 days, I could... Hey, but, turns out I
I
can
have a boring
actually...
cloak.
Oh, good, because I can say...
Doesn't cover everything though, it's a bit of shit, but something.
Turns out I actually remember a lot of dressmaking.
Huh.
Yeah. Like, if we had, like, 3 days, I could make you all outfits, but unless you've got some way of, unless we've got some way to get me, to let me do 3 days of dressmaking, then...
Yeah, I could do that.
Wait, what?
That's
I've
not
got a
something that...
magic that makes things, but I'm not good at making things unless I'm like actually good at making the things. But if I have someone who's good at making the things, I can do that.
Huh. I'd forgotten that. That's really useful.
I mean, we literally stood in a house I built because of that. So.
Yeah, I'd still forgotten. It's been a long fucking day, my
No,
darling.
I know.
I was
I know.
off scamming people. I didn't really appreciate... I don't think I really appreciated the fact that you built this house like that.
Yeah, I just did that. Fucking insane.
Except that meant that I then had no magic left, and it nearly potentially got us all killed. So I may be rethinking the sensibleness of spending all my spells on stuff that a person could do a bit slower by hand.
Yeah, but the lintel's fantastic.
It is, and it
is
wasn't
really
that. You
good.
couldn't have
I
fucking
was-
predicted that.
Yeah.
No,
Don't go all
except
self-blaming,
because it
I'm too
always
tired.
happens. But yeah.
If you start blaming yourself, you'll be in trouble.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
blaming
don't do that.
myself. I'm just saying in the future maybe I should not do things like that.
Oh, well, that's your choice.
I
I
don't like
fucking know.
being vulnerable because I used up everything on something that. Yeah.
Well, again, you couldn't have known what was going to happen.
It's been
And
a
at the time,
vulnerable
that,
sort of day, hasn't it?
that was the more useful thing for you to be doing.
Yeah, except this sort of thing happens to us a lot, doesn't it?
We're not a really good sample size for what normal is.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
So maybe I save the magic, the things that need the magic.
Save it. Don't save it. Whatever.
But anyway, yeah. I can make stuff if clothes is what we need. That's easy.
I mean, it might be nice to have some stuff that sticks out a bit less.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these fucking boots. They're ridiculous.
They're very stylish, but
Yeah, your
point
boots
taken.
are the one thing about you that we really need to do.
No, but I'm thinking if I've got a cloak. I mean, the cloak's also not that good. Like, it's a fucking cloak, isn't it? Doesn't cover all this shit. Especially when I'm all, like, pissed off like this. It's still fucking glowing.
Yeah, you are a little bit glowy.
It's not really stopped. I'm sure it will at some point, but... Ugh.
Listen, so long as you're willing to sacrifice some blankets and some drapes, I can probably... colour might be a bit tricky because we're limited on what we can use for dyes, but I can probably make you any outfit you need.
Could you do a hat to fit all this in? I put in my hair.
Yeah,
Like, will it fit
Oh,
in?
do you want me to make one of my bags? And then you can just put it like an
Just put my fucking head in
the
the
only
bag.
way to contain Celestia's hair is a bag of holding.
I'll just put my whole head in and they won't know it's me. I'll be fine.
There's
But
no
you
hair
put eye
in
holes
there.
in it. Will it still work?
No.
Like so fucked. Like angry, weird, drunk is the vibe right now. Saying weird shit.
maybe I'll just make you a nice beanie or something.
What's a beanie? Is it a bean
Is
hat?
that my woolly one?
It's shaped like a bean.
Right. Cool. I don't give a fuck today. Do whatever you want. I'll wear it.
I can't remember what the equivalent period appropriate time name is, but
It's a beanie.
but
You are in charge. Here it's a beanie if you want it
it's
to be a
worth noting
beanie.
that Shanty is from an entirely non-canonical history. So.
That's why I said,
Yeah.
what's a beanie? Because I figured it was a shanty word.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like beans. Make me a beanie.
I'll
Cracking.
make you something that'll help us fit in.
Lovely. I love fitting in. It's my favourite.
So
But
we are
yes.
planning on sticking around here then, in terms of in
I
the
think
city.
we have to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's stuff out of town that we really need to look into as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would
but we
be
need a
more
fucking
of a
rest
risk
first, don't we?
getting there, though. We can
Oh, yeah, no,
fortify
I mean-
this place.
Yeah, I don't mean tonight. I mean generally.
It's certainly much higher up the list than it was, say, 24 hours ago, but we need to deal with the immediate problem of the vampires.
Yeah, so
No, seriously, Scamp, you know what self-replicating undead can do in a city.
yeah, but these
Sorry.
ones aren't smart enough to be subtle about it either.
Sorry, I've got to... Did you say self-replicating undead?
Yeah.
As in... Like, out of stories? As in...
Yeah,
The
everyone
dead
you
coming
lose,
back to
they
life.
gain.
Yep, all that shit. Which actually happens generally if you're not in this fucking weird place.
Well, broken laws.
Indeed.
I
That's a
agree, we
terrible
should break
swear.
the laws. Stupid laws.
Right, well... It sounds like you have an approach of a plan.
What is our plan? Find the
What
tunnels.
was our plan? Amazing.
Find
Please tell us what
find
we
the
plan.
Quaker tunnels. Is that the plan?
Find
Is that
the
as
Quaker
far as
tunnels.
we've got?
That was it. And then also, if we don't find anything, are we just going to wait till night, or are we going to try going out and finding the tunnels?
Would
in the
night be
day?
worse?
No, and it wouldn't make any difference. The sun isn't real here. They could move around anywhere.
No, but I
That's
mean,
true.
the only reason to wait till night is because we know that the fighting place is at midnight.
Yes, I mean, definitely go there at midnight, if not before, but...
I
And
hate to
also
point
cover
out,
of darkness,
it's
blah, blah, blah,
2
blah,
in
blah.
the morning right now.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we need to sleep. We can't go today.
Oh, yeah, no. You, like, we're going... Like, if you're going in the morning, but... I'm just saying, you know...
Horse bolted. Is that what we were going for?
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Horse has bolted. Bye, horse.
But what are we doing during the day? Are we going straight for these tunnels, or are we
I mean,
going?
it might
to go
be
to-
it might be worth a scout if we've got a bit of time before fights will be on.
Yeah, if we
it
can
might
find
be
them
worth a
before
scout
they go
around.
to this place.
Yes.
If we can find them before, if we can find what the fuck's going on in Magnus's hideout before, it might be worth doing that beforehand.
Yeah.
If we have time to have a little look around for information, it might tell us a bit more about them. A bit more about whatever the fuck is going on with the spirits. Shit hit if there's any more of those pillars.
Yeah, that's worrying me.
Yeah, it might be a good time to have a look round and see if there's any more of that shit going on.
If we can get any more information about what Magnus knew or what resources he had at his disposal, I think that's a fair use of our time.
I think it is. I
Can't
think it's worth
exactly
doing.
talk to people though.
Yeah, but we
Even
can
the
have a look in
guys.
tunnels. You know, we can do
Yeah,
more than just
so-
sitting in here.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking. Is that our plan? Because we haven't got a plan as far as I could tell, but that sounds like an actual plan.
I think it's as good a plan as any.
Lovely. Well, we'll do that as soon as we've slept.
Yeah, I think. Honestly, I want to be doing something.
Yes.
Sitting here and waiting for something to happen is horrible. So let's do something.
You... Taking between your shifts then, you sort of alternate between crashing out in slumber, taking watches, Shanti will start sketching up some some designs for outfits that will that essentially will follow those that she's seen elsewhere in the city. A mixture of labourers' clothes, nothing as flashy as the administrator's outfit she's currently wearing, but labourers' clothes, very just ordinary trades people. Celestia, in your case, goes for quite a heavy sort of again, essentially it's sort of it's basically a robe, but she gives you but she kind of designs a hat that's verging on stylish. It's modelled a little bit after one of those magistrate type sort of judge hood things, the Q ones. But
I look a dick in that, don't I?
yeah, because it's the only thing that's going to keep your hair in. But with a little, but made out of a rougher material, like sketched with a rougher material, and with like a bit more of a hood built in, so it looks like you're being.
It's like the red nun's habit.
Yeah, you're being kind of stylish, but
in a very uncelestial way.
But in a way that people are gonna. Frankly, you look like, glancing at it, the feeling you would get upon seeing someone in the street wearing this is poser, and then ignore them, which is the effects that
Kind of a
Shanti is
double
clearly
bluff,
going
actually,
Yeah.
with Celestia.
Sorry?
Kind of a double bluff with Celestia, weirdly. Yeah. Where something's slightly attention-grabbing, but not in the same way as she usually is. That's an interesting way to do it. I like it.
All right.
My poor little hooves have got to be covered up. Horrible.
Oh, little hoofses.
Indeed, you do have the most recognisable lack of feet, as it were, in the city. Shanti makes
My entire skin colour is not the same as anyone else other than Fury, so we're a problem. We're just head to toe covered.
Yeah, you're going to be like you and Victory. Honestly, you, Victory, and Celestia all have very like concealing
features.
clothing to try and disguise the fact that you all have very recognisable features. Honestly, Scamp, your cloak does a lot of work.
Yeah, I've already got a cloak.
It literally makes you harder to notice.
Yeah, that is the point of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's magically helping a lot.
Yeah. So after your rest, spend a spell slot on that, and you all get some basic disguises.
Yeah. Do have some little things I want to do. I don't think they're actually useful.
No, but
especially this one. It's just, I don't think it's useful. I think it's more just sad. So you know how we talked about spirits that weren't remembered, so they disappeared.
Yeah.
I want to try and remember as many of them as I can. On my watch. That's what I do. Ellie don't think it will do anything, but Celestia would try.
Fair.
Roll.
Just from that initial burst, I want to remember as many of them that disappeared.
You
as
try
I can.
and fix them in your mind. I need you to roll first an intelligence check and then a charisma check.
Corzin would attempt the same on his watch too.
Okay, so let's go. Intelligence, that is a check, yeah?
Check.
Yeah. Sorry, my stats are in the other book. Hang on.
Got a bit of a cough.
I can't read. Sorry, that's a 13 for my intelligence.
Okay.
And charisma is really good. That is a 34.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I rolled a 19. I've
You
got expertise, so Oh no, sorry, that's not charisma, that's performance. I'm going insane. Apologies.
I was gonna say, that's...
Sorry, I got mixed up with what we were doing. My charisma, that is 24.
24. I was going to say, you shouldn't be able to reach a 34.
No, that doesn't make sense.
No.
I was looking at the performance number is right near charisma, and it's a charisma
Literally,
number.
the maximum you could do is 25.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You rack your brains for a handful of the spirits you remember seeing. A couple come to mind just because they're ones that echo with the stories you'd heard or that stood out. You can really only remember that the cat, the songbird,
wasn't there?
Yeah. But if there's one thing you are good at, you'd say you are pretty good at, it is visualizing and sort of capture it, both visualizing and empathizing with something like this.
Can the rainbow spirit help? Can we do it together?
The rainbow spirit tries to help as much as it can, without you asking it. Sort of, you can feel it sort of and see it trying to almost like trace out the outlines in the air. While you're focusing, while you're remembering, it's as if little wisps and flurries of colour and light and meaning that are now more free-flowing in the air begin to try to spool together. And there are moments here and there where fixing them in your mind, you think you get the outline, maybe almost like the faintest outline of a cat, the movement, or separately coloured light and shape moving in the pattern of a cat's stalking. The sound of fluttering wings, the flicker of lights in a way that suggest the beating of a songbird's wings. You can visualize them, you can remember them, you can almost shape them. And maybe if you spent days or weeks here, you might be able to mold them back into being with time and focus. Or if you had someone else who could look at them and do that, maybe they could. You certainly have the will, but you feel as if the component you're missing is time. So you feel like someone needs to be keeping that shape together, helping remind them what they were, what they could be, should be, are. And maybe if someone who could see them showed up every day and came to this spot and visualized them and tried to do the same, maybe they would come back. But are you willing to stay here and do that?
No. But I'm going to talk to Lobay.
Yeah, I'll say Lobay is kind of sat at the window, idly, kind of passing her hand in a stroking motion over the bloodhound spirit. She kind of leans against her fingers.
What are you planning on doing when all this is done? Are you staying here? Do you want to come with us? What are you doing?
That depends on what done looks like. But from what you've told me, from how you've spoken about what you... I assume that you have filled Lebe.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
From what you've said, it sounds like this is what I've been looking for. So, if we find this vampire, if we kill him, break these if we've broken this trap, if we destroy him, prevent him from making more or becoming a self-replicating undead, I think is the term.
Yep.
Then someone needs to be here to rebuild. This is my home.
Alright, it's worth telling you this then. Did you see the songbird and the cat?
Yes.
I don't have the time. But if you can remember them, I think if you came back here, whenever you can, for a day if possible, and you thought about them really hard, you visualised them, I think they might come back. I don't have the time. But I think it's possible.
She looks out of the window and...
It's up to you. I'm not trying to impose. I thought if I was you, I'd want to know.
You see her frown for a moment and then lower her hand and sort of brush it through the air. And there's the faintest sort of hint for a moment of a curved shape pressing against it, like a cat rubbing itself against your hand, and then it's gone. Thank you.
It's alright. I'm sorry I can't. Too much to do out there.
I understand.
If I lived here, I would.
I do. So it's the least I can do.
Well, I know it's only 2, but...
Oh, but now maybe if we can put an end to this, maybe now we'll find more like me. Like us.
Hope so.
We still need to find out what he was doing with us.
Exactly. That's why I say hope so. I'm worried we're going to find a room full of... fuck knows what.
He nods. Sorry, she nods.
I don't know what I'm worried about, I'm worried you're the only one that got out because you flew under the radar. Radar. Oh,
that's definitely our thing.
Oh, what's an equivalent, lads? What can I say?
Swam below the surface?
There we go.
Yeah, swim below the surface.
I'm definitely sorry to break up the dramatic moment. I was like, you can't have radar. Come on.
That's just...
Let's sort it out. I'm worried you were the only one that got out because you just swam under the surface or whatever. I'm worried that because you are unnoticed, you're the one that lived. I'm worried something terrible happened to the rest of people like us.
I'm certain something terrible happened to the rest of us, but... Who knows? If anyone else was as good as hiding as I was, maybe I missed them.
Maybe. Although there's this look between them, isn't there? Of like people who don't think that happened.
No, they don't.
They're both kind of trying to pretend, but there's just this like truth between them of no, that's not what happened, is it? What a terrible day. So it's never really been a problem where I came from. It's weird it being a problem. I know that must sound ridiculous to you.
You are strange, and your tales of your home are strange. But that is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I suppose we must seem strange to you.
Very. I mean, I didn't even know that. I guess I hadn't really thought about it. The fact that we could be separated, it's terrifying.
Rainbow spirit sort of coils around you protectively.
I hadn't really thought about the fact that people could have an issue with it. I hadn't thought about... Yeah, I mean, there have been rooms we haven't wanted to go into before, but that's as far as it's ever gone. It's... Yeah. It's vulnerable. Suddenly the world is less safe knowing this can happen. Her spirit barked.
Dogs, bark in the distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her spirit barks.
She's got a dog. We can have that one back.
Yeah.
I admire you in a way. I don't know how you've managed. It's weird them not being around everywhere. The world is lesser for it.
It did feel closer to right, out amongst the wilds, with the lawbreakers. But that was a madness of its own.
That makes sense. You trade one problem for another, I guess. Trade one less safe for a different less safe.
Such is life. But she glances between the gap in the curtains. They tell stories of a time when the city was different. When things were safer for everyone. I have to believe that maybe they were safe for us too.
Maybe.
Or maybe you're right. Maybe we were always hated from the beginning.
I mean, I don't know. Because, I have a theory that the Drow Empress, where I was originally from, the Empress, I think she might be the Lawbearer. The timing about lines up. She's lived for longer than is plausible, and it lines up with about when the Lawbearer was last seen and about when a group of Drow happened to come down here.
Huh.
And somebody mentioned the idea of beyond the sight of the gods.
That's a common phrase, yes.
Well, the gods, as far as... It's me theorising, I'm not an expert. Even though I was supposed to be a cleric at one point. Gods kind of have always just looked like big spirits to me. Especially her gods. The spider gods. Just big spirits. Big, horrible spirits. So I wonder if she wanted a place where they weren't looking, if she put something in place. But equally, where I'm from, spirits... where I'm originally from, underground, spirit side of people are sort of revered, sent off to be a priest, and it's, big cool deal. So I don't know whether she would have started it or not. I wonder, because of the beyond the sight of the god thing, but also, people fucking love spirit sighted people where I'm from, so I don't know.
I can't really... Maybe I could... That's difficult for me. Some of that is difficult for me to sympathise with, because the phrase beyond the sight of the gods is... It's one of those phrases that you work out from context. Most people here don't even really know what it means. What?
It's just a phrase here.
We know that there are stories that tell of beings under the ground or in the sky that could do wondrous things, but that's just magic.
You see, that's what I think, actually.
Except that most people here have only ever seen magic as it's done by the handful of wizards at the Inns of Magic.
Yeah, if you don't know what spirit magic is.
They've not seen what I've seen. They've not gone to the wildlands and found the cults.
Cults?
Those who gather around spirits there.
Ah, that would make sense.
I feel as if there is something in the way the people out there behave, the way they treat those of us like us, those who can see, and what they represent. Perhaps that is what your gods are like.
I think believing in a spirit in that way seems to give it power. Like, there's part of me that wonders if by believing something is a god, it sort of becomes one a bit. It's just stuff I've picked up. I don't know. Again, none of this is fact. Fucking theology, really, isn't it?
Sounds like a nice word.
Yeah. Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
There's a slightly blank look on her eyes. Like, this is a whole culture.
Religion is not here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's a good idea for me to go into the ins and outs of religion. I don't really feel like it. I might throw up or something.
Sounds like whatever it is, it didn't do well by you.
Nah, I was never a fan of church. Yeah, there's a reason I'm a runaway cleric and not a cleric. That's what happens when you're brought up where I'm brought up and you're sighted. You know, you don't tell anyone, because if you do tell anyone, speak of whiskey, then you'll be sent off to be a priest, and you'll have to, like, sacrifice people in front of a bunch of people every week, and it'll be really gruesome and awful, and you watch them be torn apart by a spider. So you don't tell anyone for ages and ages and ages, and then you piss your sister off, and she tells everyone. And then it's decided that you'll be a fucking priest. So you decide, well, fuck, I'm fucked. Fuck it all. And you meet someone who helps you get out. And then you're not a priest. But eventually she leaves. Sorry, I'm really fucking maudlin today. It's a bad day.
Sounds like a tough upbringing.
Yeah, it sucks. Don't really want to go underground, to be honest. Not a good day for it. Hey, they'd be really proud of what I did to Magnus, though. They think that was great. Yay.
Lebe looks uncomfortable. Not in a afraid of you way, just in that sort of socially awkward way.
I'm not making it easy.
Yeah.
Like, Celestia's like quite a bit of a bottle of whiskey, and I think are like really black clouds drunk. You know, like it's not nice.
You get the feeling that Lebe doesn't have these sorts of friendships and isn't used to these sorts of conversations.
You really don't have to put up with this. I'm gonna leave you to it and go and be weird somewhere else.
I mean, you're okay.
Oh, you're perfectly nice, and I don't want to be bringing my bullshit to you.
I guess it sounds bad. I've had some bad times in my life.
Sure you have.
And I'm not there now. And, you know, I don't want to go back to the cults. So I didn't. And I haven't. And, you know, I'm not going to pretend it never happened. But that's literally not where I am anymore. I'm here.
Always fascinates me when it works like that for people. I wish it worked like that for me, but it doesn't. No matter how many times I tell myself I'm not there, it doesn't fucking matter. When I get like this, I am. But it's good that it works like that for you. That's cracking.
I guess I'm... In that way, we're different. I don't really talk to a lot of people.
That's fair.
Not...
Probably safer, horribly.
That's sort of why.
Yeah.
I don't really get close to people that much.
I get that.
So I can't really tell you if how you feel about this is normal or if how I feel about this is normal or if neither of us.
Normal doesn't matter.
But I guess what I mean to say is, well, I suppose what you just said, for whatever reason, my past stays in my past. And for whatever reason, yours tries to catch up to the present.
Yeah, just a bit of a mess in here, you know. Happens.
But I guess the best thing I could say here is, if it helps, it's not here right now.
I'll try and get that into my brain. It's happening inside of my head drunkenly.
Well, look at it this way. When you were nearly a priest, or a cleric?
Cleric, but it was the same shit, really.
Okay. Right, like dog and hound, that makes sense.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you have the colourful hair you do?
No. It was white.
Well, maybe when I was a little girl, we used to. I remember sometimes people who were friends would take a bit of their hair, and they'd make like a little braid, and then put it in like a little bracelet out of it.
That's cute.
Maybe you could take a little bit of your hair and put it around your wrist, and then anytime you need to remember you're not there, you can look and go, hey, I've got rainbow hair.
For someone who doesn't have these problems, you're really fucking smart with them. Do you know that?
She shrugs and glances down. It's all Sniffer. Arf.
So cute. Hello.
Sniffer pads forward and gives you a sort of vaguely ethereal nudge on the knee.
Give him a little squidge. heavily telegraphing to Lope that I'm going to.
Lope
but she has a
gives a
problem.
little nod and Sniffer. It's strange because you're getting like almost the ghost of a feeling of a dog rubbing against your leg.
Oh, you're very sweet.
Ruff.
Woof yourself.
Sniffer pads back.
Sorry for dumping on you.
It's alright.
Really?
You still gonna kill the vampire?
Yes, vampires. Multiple.
Right, because the self-replicating.
Yeah.
How quickly does that happen?
I actually don't know with vampires.
Like, do they have to do they take 9 months or 9 seconds, 9 hours?
I actually really properly don't know. It's like a story where I come from.
Oh dear.
Yeah. The only thing I know about them is that the sunlight's bad, and there actually isn't sunlight here. It's sort of weird magic fake sun. So yeah.
Do you have any sunlight?
I can be really glowy sometimes, but I actually don't know if that counts because I've never done it on one of them. So I've genuinely no idea. I'm really sorry I can't reassure you on that one. But no, not exactly an expert on vampires. I only found out they existed a few months back, and that was only one of them. We weren't in a fight with her. I just sort of heard about it second hand.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Corzin seems to be doing a thing with some water. Maybe they don't like water.
That's something.
Yeah, well, some things. I've got some holy water. Sure, that's particularly bad. Blowing smoke out of a pipe.
Shanti was saying they didn't like wood, it looked like.
Wood.
For some reason.
Oh, one of them got like pinned to the wall, didn't it? That looked promising.
Well, in any case, yes, well, I don't mind you dumping on me as long as you kill the thing that's been presumably killing
Ruining
people
all
like
of
me
your
for
lives. Yep.
centuries.
Whoa,
That'd be
what are
nice.
they doing with them? What are they doing with them, Lobe? What is the horrible conspiracy we're about to uncover? How are we supposed to sleep?
They're...
My plan is get pissed so far. Yeah.
I don't know. They're turning them into small ornamental souvenirs.
That's both very dark and very funny, Lobe, if I'm honest.
Sorry, I'm not good at improvising.
I beg to differ. That was hilarious.
And I guess we're going to kill them with water and wood and sunlight if you can find a way to... You've got any sunlight tucked away
or something. Yeah.
And
again, I can do some things that are bright, but I genuinely don't know if they count.
And sleeping. Well, it's not raining. Rain is what I'd usually do to help, listen. If I get the sound of rain, sometimes helps for me. I could hum.
Aww, that's very sweet. Maybe I'll fiddle about on the guitar for a bit. It usually calms me down.
Yeah, maybe do that.
I won't be loud, promise.
Cool. Good talk.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Sorry.
no. I appreciate it. It's very new for me. A lot happening today. This.
A lot of firsts, yeah.
Yes.
First time seeing that many spirits, I imagine.
Yes.
Sorry.
Not even compared to outside. No, compared to the wildland. So.
They're sort of everywhere normally. Especially with big groups of people. They kind of... I don't know, it's like you see birds. When you walk around, there's birds and small creatures about. It's like that. That's how it's supposed to be. Just, incidentally around.
Well, I hope to see more of them.
I hope you do too.
I'm going to go wake up
Yep.
Mr. Surgeon Horhace?
Captain, technically.
Captain. Okay, I'm going to go wake up Captain Horhace now.
Cool. I actually want to talk to Corzin.
Lebe awkwardly wakes up Corzin.
So that was an unexpected chat because you were like, someone who lives here could do it. I was like, oh, we have one of those. So,
Corzin, you are gently shaken awake, and a slightly worried Lebe goes, "Hi, okay, your friend is quite drunk and very sad, and this is... I'm not...
I got it.
Thank you.
so embarrassing in this character. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Lebe,
Like a drunk 14-year-old is like how I feel. I'm just like, I'm viscerally embarrassed by my behaviour, but I can't stop. Anyway.
not good at handling complex social situations.
But like valid, she's always on her own. What is she supposed to do? Lived in a desert and then in hiding. Purposely not getting close to anyone. Like, fair, you know? She's not equipped.
Corzin, you kind of like open your eyes, all of them. A lot of them are already open, so you coming into consciousness is more like a full body bleary focusing.
That sounds horrible. That sounds so awful.
Because we established you do go to sleep with the belt on.
Horrendous.
Oh, me and my light sensitive ass could not imagine this happening like everywhere. Like on my ass.
Corzin literally gets blinded if you shine a bright light within 5 feet of him, so yeah.
Jesus.
It'd probably be like sit up, like, oh, okay, and I would imagine sometimes he might just like for a split second forget to open his actual biological eyes.
Yeah,
It's not actually necessary.
Yeah, it's a little weird
Because
sometimes.
eyes are formed on your eyelids.
I'd so assume that's the case.
Oh, like painted ones.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean
He's got
they
tattoos.
could.
Yeah. No, literally, that's it.
It's an absolute waste if they're not on his eyelids.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you? They have to be.
It's just that, yeah. So there's the vague disconcertingness. Like once or twice you've seen like Corzin like making eggs for breakfast or something. And just has, like,
God,
forgotten
scary.
to open his eyes.
Morning.
And like then reflexively opens them, like just because you've seen people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't worry, they're still there.
Oh, I fucking hate when you do that. It's terrifying.
Like emo teenager, like fiddling away at the guitar, not playing anything particular, and just smoking.
Well, as rough nights go, this is definitely in the top 5.
Yeah, same, I think.
Says the ambivalent octopus, though it is clinging closer to the Corzin than usual.
Yeah, there's a slight, almost like reflexive hand to it, even though it doesn't have like physical form. It's
Celestia's kind of looking at you both like if a friend was really ill or really visibly injured and you're really concerned about them, but you're kind of trying not to worry them with your concern.
Yeah.
That's the expression that is looking at you right now. How are you both?
Yeah. Ambivalent octopus shrugs.
About as alright as I'm going to be for a bit. I do feel the benefit of that sleep though, although it's
Good.
It's like I can only really think of the equivalent of after you've had an injury that means you've needed to immobilize a limb for long enough, and then once it's finally healed, you feel a bit still awkward and weak because you haven't used it for so long. And it's crazy because, like, literally, it was, I don't even know, like, a couple of minutes that we reported, but
you looked bad though. You went all grey.
I felt bad.
Yeah, your colours went.
No, it's it's a sobering experience, finding out that there's a new way that you can be killed.
It's terrifying, isn't it? I never even considered it.
Well, it's not something you ever get used to.
Does the connection feel the same?
I think so. And,
Good.
Genuinely out of character, does this feel familiar enough, even given everything that has gone on?
I guess, yeah, it still feels... The connection to the ambivalent opposite is the same. It's still very much the ambivalent optimist. If anything, maybe a little stronger, or perhaps you're feeling that just relative to the absence.
Yeah, it's like
a noise
hot
that's come
after
back.
cold after hot kind of thing. Right. As far as I can tell, it feels the same.
Good.
You'd almost compare it to, when you sit on your leg for ages without realising your leg goes dead.
Yeah.
And then you kind of try to move.
That right now.
And you have that horrible... I did this once, really badly, and I just this horrible, period where I just couldn't move my legs for, a couple of minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've done that before.
And it was just, that was, brief horror terror. And then I kind of got them back. Obviously, the dead leg period passed, and I was able to move my legs again. And there was both the there's the pins and needles, but there was also just that awful sensation of your ability to move your legs slowly returning.
Yeah.
A little bit as you reconnected to them. And you're going to feel fine and everything is okay, but you're still in that both deeply unnerved and legs feeling a little weak as they're kind of coming back in.
Oh, at that shaky leg stage.
Stage, yeah.
Yeah.
You're coming out of that now after a bit, the rest has helped a bit. The couple of hours of just closing your many eyes, not that you can, closing your two eyes and just ignoring your many other eyes, and getting a little fitful sleep, you can feel that sort of strange phantom limb disorientation and pain is receding, but the sense of being unnerved is still there.
You know what the scariest part was?
What?
If I'd died or lost a limb or lost... Regina knows what else. It would have been bad, but I'd have adapted, and I mean,
not if you died.
Well, no, obviously not then, but...
I get you, though.
I'd thought of a lot over the years about what would happen if I actually did die, or if I did lose a limb. How would we cope when we got back home? And I always, on some level, knew that it'd be all right, but the thought of going back to Molly and little Corzin and everyone else, that diminished. With part of myself I didn't even know it was possible to lose gone. That properly scared me.
It's horrifying. I hate knowing that's possible.
Right this second, so do I. But...
And you know, we got lucky. You didn't. We were lucky we were in a position to break that.
Yes.
Because that looked bad.
Trust me, it was.
I felt the beginnings of it, but I can't imagine. There's more pain than I've ever been in. And we didn't get to the point that you did. I know our connection's different. But...
Well, if I ever find
it's
anything
still a piece
else
of your
like
fucking soul, isn't it? Like there's... I think you're like us in that there's a bit of you both in each other, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like...
The ambivalent octopus.
You're so unhelpful, do you know that?
Looks you dead in the eye, shrugs. You know, so he is.
Glad you're alright.
Yeah. Could be worse.
Could be.
Well, you know that, that metaphor they sometimes use about, like, pouring a liquid into a jug? Well, maybe in this case, it's like the liquid changes the shape of the jug a bit.
Is that how it feels for you?
A little, yeah. Like, I'm still always the person I was.
I'm not.
But...
That's different. I think the way we're connected is different. Not less or more. Just different. Because we're the same thing now. Like... There's not a line. There's possibly a transition. But you can't see where one of us ends and the other one begins. It doesn't matter.
Sort
Quite
of interwoven.
It really is actually difficult to see these days where the join between Celestia and the Rainbow Spirit is. It seems to kind of flow out of the edges of her.
Yeah, they've spent a lot of time going in and out of each other, I think. It feels right, it's the right thing.
You're like a tapestry.
Yeah. Like
Interwoven, says the Rainbow Spirit.
Look at you with your words. I couldn't think of that word off the top of my head.
I like words.
You're good at words.
So are you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're like water and ink. And I like it that way. That's why I can't imagine separating. It doesn't make any sense. Even that brief bit of it was wrong.
Well, if I find anything else like that in the world, I'm going to make a point of destroying it.
You see, that's what fucking frightens me. There's never just one of something. Really unusually, I guess.
Well, you're probably right, but at the same time, if it's a thing that somebody somewhere at some point figured out how to create, then maybe there's only so many people who have ever known how to do that.
Let's hope it's a small number.
Well, we haven't run into that many of them, have we?
No.
I think for now, I'm just going to try and content myself with trying to make sure that no one has the ability to create any more.
It's the best we can do. And if we find any more, get the fuck rid of them.
Agreed. Thank you. I don't imagine the others would get it on the same level we do.
No. You know, they've all got empathy, but...
Of course, and I'm not trying to say that it's worse less, but it's
it's
good having a person who knows viscerally what it's like.
Knows how fucking frightening that is on a personal level.
Mm.
Fucking hurt, didn't it? I mean, you more so, I imagine, but the pulling.
There weren't words.
The octopus sort of wraps a tentacle somewhat reassuringly around your shoulder.
Mm. And Corzin responds to this. It takes a couple of deep breaths and...
I offer him a hand.
I take it.
I wish this wasn't a thing. Silly as that sounds.
Mm.
Part of me wishes we didn't know it was a thing, because now we know this can be done, and I don't know what I am without both of us being here.
Sometimes we find out things like this, and it's... Well, there's no two ways about it. They're fucking disturbing. But...
You saw how many spirits there were, didn't you? That must be so many people like us.
Yeah.
I don't mean, you know, spirits, so many of them are just like fucking children, aren't they? Wandering around the world, having a look at things, being curious.
That's why we have to destroy anything like that we find.
Where are all the people?
I don't know, and that's what bothers me.
I don't want to know, but we have to find out, don't we?
Well, if I had to hazard a guess, it would be, well, if a person lives on indefinitely after that's done to them, something has to fill the gap. I don't know what. But if you're doing it maliciously...
Sounds like a good way to make undead.
Yeah, very good.
Fill up the gap with something nasty. Get a repeater.
Yeah.
Got yourself an army, haven't you? Or a troop of
Makes you wonder about back out there, like what gets lost that naturally that happens.
What a load of horrible questions. There are a few answers.
Yeah. But
We'll figure something out. We're not
yes,
leaving here
we
till
will.
this stops.
No, we can't. And for everybody here, they deserve to know the truth.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, burn it to the fucking ground if we have to. Can't think of anything more worth it. Some places should burn. I hope it doesn't come to that, but if it does, I'll do it. I need to sleep.
Yeah, rest.
Can I sleep next to you?
Of course.
I don't want to be on my own.
You're not.
I'm just gonna sleep. I just sleep next to him.
You
squeeze the
drag
hand.
over your little blanket bedroll situation and just right next to Corzin as he keeps watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like my back against his knee or something, like a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will make sure that in some form or another you always know he's there, present.
Yeah. I don't sleep well. It's like drunk sleep, I think.
Yeah.
While Celestia sleeps, the rainbow spirit kind of like roils and like twists a little in an unsettled fashion. I will say that you complete your watch, you head back to sleep, and both of you are eventually awoken in the morning by... I'm trying to think what this would be. I suppose by the... Actually, no, wait. We've got Shanti here. So you awaken to the smell of warm kind of sort of essentially warmed up travel rations.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a smell, like a distinct smell. It looks, and you can see that. And as you kind of open your eyes, you see that in the kitchen-esque area, a fire hasn't been lit in the chimney. Although there is a place, a place for a stove, but the not wanting to give away any smoke signals or like that has not been the case. Now, I'm trying to find the. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes. Can't reach my notes. Never notes here. Never mind. That's really annoying. But I will say, so going from memory then, it looks like Shanti has basically been heating up some breakfast by putting a series of the like little travel cookware that you have over her phone, which appears to be conjuring a series of small translucent flames above them, because the phone can cast cantrips.
Phones are
Produce flame.
shit, aren't they?
Yeah.
I want my phone to do cantrips. What is the fucking point of this? If it can't clear up small messes, I don't want to fucking hear about it.
Yeah.
Bring me a phone that can clean up small messes. Stop making AI art and figure out how to do that, you cunts.
I mean, basically, you're kind of saying like, give me a tiny
robot.
phone that can also be a Roomba.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I want. A Roomba phone.
Roomba phone it is.
I'm glad you agree. Excellent.
So yeah, there we go. I was trying to find Victory's downstairs. So yeah, you do actually also see Victory sat at the table that Scamp made yesterday, along with a series of folded blankets, some potentially sacrificial bedrolls. But also just a series of like various items, mostly the pistols, the magical pistols and the magical blunderbuss and so on, that you retrieved from the Shaper of Will's domain. A lot of them have been like stacked to one side. You see her going with her little reconfigurable wand, passing it slowly over an object, observing it, making some notes, like doing multiple passes. However, as you're waking up, you see her lift up a small, I think it was brass locket on a chain, finish examining it. Scamp, you do realise this locket is intended to drown people, right?
What? No, it's for walking on the bottom of the sea.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I get that. It just occurs to me that if you don't tell someone how to turn it off, it's also a good way of drowning someone, because it forces you to just stay on the bottom of the sea.
Huh.
Which is really useful if you're like walking around looking for stuff.
Yeah,
If you can
forget
breathe
most people
water.
can't breathe without.
Yeah, but who can't do that? No one I know.
You don't know that. Never mind.
Also, you literally
Coffee.
give us everyone you know. Okay.
Everyone I know can breathe water.
That's because you make them breathe water every morning. You're doing it right now.
Well,
it's not like everyone I know can breathe water just coincidentally. It's I make everyone I know breathe water out of paranoia every day over breakfast.
potato.
I mean, that's
Okay.
the point. It's been a while since I've seen a body of water large enough to drown in.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're
You'd be
in,
surprised how small a body of water you can drown in.
no, I wouldn't. Also, yeah, just so you all know, if you get this like on your neck and you need to not sink to the bottom of any bodies of water, put it in your mouth. I don't know why, but that's how you deactivate this thing.
Right, great. That's
Good to know.
good to know. That's a really
I mean,
weird
I
deactivation
didn't know
code.
that because that is the first thing I did with it.
That would track.
That's just the first thing I do with most things.
It is.
I don't suppose it tasted particularly nice.
Put them
did
in
it?
your mouth or give them a little licky, innit?
Yeah.
Either way.
You recall it mostly tasting of brass. So,
Brass tastes good though.
like pennies, you know.
Yum yum yum.
You're gross, do you know that?
Got anything else
No.
you want me to take a look at while I'm working my way through? Most of these suggestions to the various magical weapons work exactly the way we thought, but
Cracking.
I couldn't sleep and figured I'd give things a look over.
Oh,
That's
thanks.
fair. Do you want a coffee if you miss some sleep?
I would happily take a coffee.
Who
Yes,
else
thank you.
wants coffee? Anyone?
Yeah.
It's obviously not Scamp.
Right.
I'll have yours, but anyone else?
I'll take one. Do you mind having a look at these, actually? I'm not sure what actually they're supposed to do, and I just passed over the various different bits of the sextants that we got.
Yeah.
all that while ago.
So this is the first time you've ever actually had the sextant pieces that you got from the
Fisher Kings.
Fisher Kings identified.
Yeah.
Where's magic?
so-
I could have done that any time.
I mean, you're welcome to if you want. I can.
No,
I've
I'm
got
busy making everyone breathe underwater because apparently that's the thing people can't do.
It was a thing you couldn't do until not that long ago.
You can't be mad with me for not being able to breathe underwater naturally.
Nobody pronounces it potato. Literally not a single
Literally
living
not a
soul.
soul alive has ever said potato. Except
Jeffrey
me
does.
just now.
Jeffrey pronounces it that way.
You have no idea how close I am to going back to bed right now.
I wonder what sort of an accent a monkey would have.
Just stop. Everybody stop talking. We're going to go insane.
Right? If Jeffrey could talk like we could. I wish that were possible. Oh well.
I pour a tiny bit of whiskey into my coffee.
legitimate question of whether you want to cast Identify on this, because your Identify works slightly differently to Victory's. But I will give you Victory's.
Remind me what what's the difference?
The way that Victory has learned to do it, Victory interprets everything through the readout of this sort of configurable wand that she spends 10 minutes reconfiguring every time. So she gets a less vibesy breakdown of what these things do, of what things do. She actually has like clearer identification in terms of technical abilities. You get a series of visions that your mind kind of collates into understanding.
from my colouring book.
Yeah.
Can I get pretty pictures in my colouring book that I then interpret?
I mean,
like a dream journal.
Adorable.
Sure, I will say that as you have these flickering images, it's a bit like Isaac from Heroes. Like you just sort of, like your eyes roll
the
back,
artist, yeah,
and you just sort of rapidly sketch.
Cool.
You're doodling stuff you can later interpret.
Like what you see. So both of you can identify this.
Yeah, I'll do it in 10 minutes. Wait, it'll take me 10 minutes, but I need to finish this drawing. There's this breathing thing first.
Yeah. So Victory finishes her assessment, like passing the wand over it, kind of examines the output, makes some notes, and frowns. Okay. She picks up and examines the... So this is the frame and graduated arc of a sextant.
Yeah.
It is missing an index arm, a telescope, and mirrors.
Yep.
You can see that the frame is made of what appears to be gold. Victory comments, "Yeah, frame's actually made of mithril, but it's gold foiled."
Oh, wow! All right, fancy.
That seems silly.
It's a lot lighter, and it has certain magical resonances, I think.
Oh, fair.
And now see and the graduated arc's obviously a gemstone, and you look at it, you can see that the graduated arc appears to be cut from a curved fragment of sunstone that has been kind of like smoothed out to form like a little arc of a sextant, and it has numbers and figures that have been inscribed in it in gold, kind of etched into it. It catches the light in a way that kind of almost looks like it's like a mote of sunlight trapped inside it, no matter what angle of light you turn it to. Well, the first thing I can tell you is that it's incomplete. It looks like it's meant to connect to two other objects, probably the arm and the mirrors and the telescope.
That would make sense.
But it is actually magical, and it looks like if... I'm not going to activate it because this looks like it kind of... It's a use once and then probably takes a whole bunch of time to recharge thing. But according to the wand, you can activate it by pulling... It's meant to use the index arm, but without it, you can sort of run your thumb along the full reach of the arc both ways, and it will shine brightly, literally bright as the sun.
Oh shit!
All right, so face it away from you then.
That's helpful. Face it away from you, certainly, and me actually, but you more.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest you turn this on, Corzin.
Right, you are.
Because I think it would literally blind you.
Quite probably with all this, and he gestures to all of the eyes.
We'd have to get you a lot of pairs of glasses to sort that out, yeah.
Yeah, and it would only be a temporary solution. Exactly.
They really would, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
That is so stupid.
Can't give Corzin
Very
sunglasses, at least not for...
It's really funny.
Like, it takes an hour for the eyes to show up, but they would.
Also, he'd need them on his balls, as we've established, so, you know.
Can we not?
I'm sorry, Molly told us and I still haven't recovered, so, yeah.
Lobe
Corzin
is,
goes russet.
Lobe is giving us, like, bewildered, and then, like, look, and then as she's sort of putting together what you're talking about from context, like, a dawning look of amazement and then horror.
That's
Yes,
just
they're
about how I feel. Most of the time, actually.
So yeah, once per day, this can cast daylight.
Okay, Cool.
Scamp, you 10 minutes later kind of run this hold this in one hand, take up your little colouring pencils and start of like run your fingers over it and sort of almost get a little trance-like, and then full on go into a trance as you get what seems to be a blistering series of images flashing into your mind, and you watch as the rest of you see Scamp furiously sketching with their colouring pencils, with honestly a great deal more skill than they used to be able to, with having spent a month just drawing, because there was nothing else to do except draw, sleep, talk, and once every 8 hours go and pull a lever.
These look really good.
I had a lot of practice recently. Just you wait till I draw horses again.
What you see is a collated, you get the same information, mechanical information, cast daylight once a day, but in Scamp's sketched out pictures you get almost like a sort of cartoon, though the different images, the different panels of it blend into each other in that sort of, I forget the formal name for the style, but like it's not separated by panels. The images just sort of flow naturally one from the other. Like a bit of the edge of one image will form like a line of a different image that flows.
I don't know the name of it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Pretty comics.
And the and it doesn't necessarily the order is a little confused, but you kind of see almost like a rising sun with flickering with like curving streams of golden light coming out of it and around it, and then the golden streams like flickering around a sketch of a tropical looking city with stepped sort of pyramid type buildings. There is some sort of you see one of these little golden whirls amongst a series of lizard folk. Sorry, no, it's not lizard folk. It's amongst a series of Yonti. You would guess based on Scamp's on the fact that Scamp's the way Scamp's drawn the people, and also one of them just like full on has a snake head, and some of them have have like a snake tail. It looks like there's some sort of conflict. The word, like the Scamp, you get a sense of rebellion happening, and then and above these sort of scenes is the stepped temple, upon which is a sketch of an image you have seen before. Scamp has sketched out almost a sort of traced outline of that idol you found underneath Utu of the feathered serpent.
Okay.
And the feathered serpent kind of seems to be like overlooking this whole story, and at the height, and the story kind of goes from the bottom and snakes upwards. You see the little golden wisp, almost kind of bent in some way, looking either prostrating in obedience or in capitulation before the temple or before the graven image of this feathered serpent. And then you see, and the last panel is of the serpent being dragged into a curved piece of sunstone, and then finally the last fragment is a pair of hands, carefully sculpt. A pair of not Yonti hands, but looked like human or halfling hands, carefully shaping the gem and chiseling in the numbers for the graduated elements. Interestingly, at the very bottom of the page, there's like a kind of incoherent series of colours and shapes, but they're all quite like, there's blacks, there's reds and oranges, and there is depicted at the base of it that little arc of sunstone, and you just looking, and it's an image that evokes a feeling of anger and passion and destruction.
This one's a grumpy bit.
Grumpy? About anything
Yeah,
particular?
Like break everything.
That's relatable.
Well, I'd be a little grumpy if I was forced into a bit of sunstone.
Is that what we think it is? There's
not
something
sure.
in there? Or is it just
certainly-
made with that kind of grumpiness?
I don't know.
Not sure. I wonder if the other parts we don't have work with it to allow it to do other things.
Oh yeah, like I think there's probably more to it once it's all put together.
Quick question mechanically. If I were, for example, in a situation where I was looking for the other parts of this, would me being familiar with the parts that I have allow me to locate the others with locate object?
Maybe. You need to know what, like, if you know what you're looking for, which I guess you do in a broad sense.
Yes, the constituent parts.
And
that
you
aren't
have
there.
this, it's going to give you a lot better chance of finding. I'd say, you've got one piece of it. You know what the other pieces will be. So I'm going to say that maybe that's enough to allow locate object to work, assuming you're within 1,000 feet.
Yeah,
Very
I know
unlikely.
And assuming it's not in a lead box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or or within
sanctum,
a sanctum
yeah.
that you are not
Yeah.
yourself in.
Well, that's interesting then. Also, this. Maybe you'd best hang on to this for the moment, actually. I'll have it back once we're out of here, but if this thing can make actual, genuine daylight, then it is super valuable to us right now.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like I say, I can be glowy, but I don't honestly know if it counts.
Well, daylight and light is not the same thing, is it? 'Cause
No, I mean, there's a lot of crossover, obviously, but that there are elements of one that aren't necessarily the other.
I mean, that light ball that Sander had, that was different, right? Than what I
Yeah,
can
good
do.
example, actually. But yeah, a lot of... well, I mean, I know a lot of cathedrals used to have relics that supposedly could do stuff like this, and they'd call it a miracle, but in practical terms, what it is it just
Spirit
kind of
magic.
like maybe... Well, yeah, it sort of harnesses the power of the sun and then releases it all at once.
Interestingly, the daylight spell does not explicitly state that it's sunlight, but I am explicitly stating that it's sunlight.
This one is, and that's fine. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm assuming radiant damage isn't quite right.
You're not sure.
That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing it like I don't know because I figure I don't.
You also don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you, the player, also don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Well, we've been
I don't know what your rules are on that. Yeah.
We've been in close enough proximity to an item before that did something like this to know it probably won't hurt us, but anything that's sensitive to actual sunlight.
Yeah. It's
Right.
an interesting one.
any final preparations you want to do beyond spending a spell slot to make some disguises?
I mean, do you ever want to make Marjorie into something more useful so she can go have a look around for us?
Ooh, something spy might be good. Mind you, she is also a spirit.
I mean, have you got any incense left? Or are we
What is
out?
Marjorie a spirit? We already talked about this a bit.
Like a little bit.
Yeah.
Not in the normal way.
Yeah.
Also, at least she can be brought back if anything terrible happens.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if I've got enough incense.
What
or
spy?
Not, but what?
Like a fly?
Yeah, that would work.
She's already a cockroach, so that's not
Oh,
gonna
true. Cockroach isn't
I
bad.
just think he's a bit slow and small, but...
Yeah, something zippy with the ability to fly would probably be best.
Something that could get more of a look.
Yeah, but if it's not substantially better than cockroach, I'm not actually sure if I've got enough
Fair.
incense. It's not be worth the use.
Oh, fair enough.
Shanty frowns. All right. Your money's worth shit here. I need. What have you got in terms of trade goods? Someone's got to make incense out here. I can do a quick shopping trip.
I love your confidence. It's amazing.
Here's a bottle of wine.
Here's a mithril trowel.
I think you're overpaying with the mithril trowel. Bottle of wine should work.
Cracking.
I'll be back.
I've
Half
had
an hour
that bottle of
later.
wine for so long. That came
sat
from a cellar in Sewell.
Shit, you've had that for ages. Yeah.
I had 6. I've slowly worked them down.
Shanty returns half an hour later with. Right, Shanty returns half an hour later with 6 basically croissants, a sort of little strange pie with hot sausage meat and egg and oddly some sort of like little dollops of like sour jam around the outside, and also a box containing two Marjories worth of incense cones.
Oh, great.
Right, breakfast,
That'll do.
magic incense.
I'm
I mean,
so glad
it's
you're
regular
here.
incense, but you know.
Warburton
I'm
will
so
get a load
fucking
of
glad
these.
you're here.
You break your fast.
So,
What?
let's leave Marjorie as a cockroach for now, but if we decide she needs to be something else.
Then we got
Cool.
something.
You
Yeah.
now have a couple of
Yeah.
of incense.
I think we should just go and try and find some tunnels. I think there's fuck all else to do at this point.
Yeah.
All right. You
We
are.
head to where that mine was. Corzin, do you know where it was?
I know.
They did describe to me broadly where it was, didn't they? Because that was where all the injured were
Low
coming
Bay is
from.
just-
You
said she
did.
knows.
Lobay actually kicks in, and I actually no, I can tell you exactly where it was. I went
Amazing.
there to rescue people. So
Great.
you've got 2 options. So it sounds like we've got 2 options. Do you want to go to the mine or to this sort of fight club?
Well, that's not till midnight.
Yeah, it's not for a while, is it?
Yeah, we should do the mine first.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know how to get to the thing until midnight, so.
The mine it is. And you head out towards the mine. Now, can I... I'm going to brush over this bit a little bit. Could I ask each of you to roll a stealth check with advantage?
Is that just straight stealth for me these days?
Your disadvantage is usually due to your incredibly flashy cloak, isn't it? Yeah,
Just my
that's it.
appearance in general.
Appearance
I
in
think.
general.
It
True.
used to be clothes, but now the rest
Now
of me
the
is
rest of you
mental
is thing.
too.
Yeah, so the advantage just cancels out. So it's straight for you. Everyone else with advantage, please.
16.
I got a natural 20
Oh,
or
nice.
27.
6?
Okay, as a group, you
The
kind
dice always know that I don't really want to be stealthy. It's terrible.
You
Yeah.
kind of keep Celestia, like, moving forwards.
I don't know how you do it. We've covered everything about you that should... And yet...
I'm trying really hard.
That's what makes it worse, because I can tell.
You just, like, as you're passing by, you just hear someone go, like, ugh, look at them. They're obviously doing that whole, oh, I don't want to be seen look. Such a poser.
I hate it here.
Oh no, let's leave as soon as it's possible too.
If I have to die here, I'm going to be so fucking mad.
No one is allowed to die here.
Okay, Captain.
Like, no, serious dad voice. No, none of you.
Oh no, he's got the dad voice out. Everybody hide.
No dying. Dad'll get cross.
He will.
You move quickly enough through, actually away from the city centre, out into some of the more agrarian type districts and towards a recently kind of collapsed looking mine. As you do so, you actually pass over the well-paved streets, including a few little bridges. The city is canals run through the city, redirecting the flowing water from the 4 different rivers that have been redirected in, and then out towards the various irrigation points.
I have a question.
Hey, because it's a body of water
Yes.
you could drown yourself in.
Oh, cracking. Let's do that. Lovely. We'd have to deal with this shit.
Ask your question.
Ellie's question is also Celestia's question. Is after we have released a bunch of shit from that pillar, are there noticeably more spirits today?
There
That's a good
are.
question.
Like, there's not tons of them, but you can now see little flickers of colour and like kind of early forming spirits.
Okay, well that's
flitting around.
That's information.
You know, they're fewer. They're still fewer than you would see.
Fewer
in
than is
Calcinea,
normal, yeah.
Certainly, but there are some at all. It's not stark for their absence.
Yeah.
Looks like we made a dent. Now let's get that dent wider.
But the fact that they haven't all immediately disappeared again is actually quite reassuring.
Yeah, well, even if they can't see them, people and spirits, they interact.
Oh yeah, no, my point was more there wasn't another backup pillar that they just immediately went into.
That is very reassuring to know.
The let's see. Yes, you carry on towards the outside over these little canal bridges. Actually, following along one at one point, you can see that this is one of the reasons why the city clearly has access to regular drinking water and can actually do the whole flush the plumbing type situation. But you do make your way fairly swiftly towards the distant mine. Now, I'm going to point out, along the way, you do get the opportunity to kind of overhear a few bits and bobs of conversation. So anyone who wants to can roll what's it? Gather information these days. Investigation check.
Investigation.
Please.
Cool.
Law question
Yes.
about the law. Is reading people's thoughts illegal? I can't remember.
Hostile magic is illegal, but I will say from your conversation with Lo Bei and your own experiments with trying to nick stuff off each other, it looks like the automatic enforcement of the law doesn't seem to be able to perceive less obvious infringements than the basic, clear violations of the basic laws, based on the fact that Shanti was able to commit fraud all of yesterday.
Like so much fraud.
Yeah, Shanti just flagrantly committed fraud, and no one caught her because it appears the magic isn't
nuanced.
Is pervasive but lacks the level of nuance. It's not. It doesn't seem to be intelligent in that way.
Yeah, there's lies of, that is a very fine hat, and yes, I absolutely have the capital to back this.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, that's good to know. But yes, I would love to try and overhear, and if I hear anything interesting, I might have a little look-see.
Yes.
18 on the investigation.
In which case, I'm giving you advantage on the investigation check because you're literally reading people's thoughts.
Oh, nat 20.
Nice.
Okay.
Would you like to know the actual number?
No, the nat 20, because you're managing people's thoughts, makes a difference. So 18 from Corzin. Scamp?
Yep.
Oh, I got an 8.
Okay. So Corzin, you hear a lot of you hear the bits that are out loud. First of all, so the main thing, obviously, people talking about is the explosion. At the top of Looking Glass Tower. The fact that the city's only enchanter and highest grade citizen has vanished. A lot of people believe that he's been murdered, but you do hear an argument of, no, it's got to be kidnapping, can't be murder. What makes you think? Well, then why can't it be murder? Well, that if someone had murdered someone, they'd be dead, wouldn't they? Because of the law. So they must have. So think about it. If you want to kill someone, they must have kidnapped him and been stuck him out of the city to try and kill him there. Would that work? I don't know. I heard it in a pub once.
Broken laws.
So. Yeah, you are. It very much confirms you're wanted. Mm-hmm. You're the principal suspect. You also hear another one like, well, I've overheard. I heard it's not just Magnus. It's some of his. They've gone after some of his closest supporters as well. No. Oh yeah, the director of that theatre. She's gone missing. So's all the staff. It's been closed up all day.
Oh shit!
They saw those outsiders, those visitors, going to the theatre just before.
Oh no!
Celestia,
Public enemy number 1.
You hear a thought, like you filtered most of this, but as you're just wandering through, picking out thoughts, you catch a thought. And it's a stray thought of someone on their way, so you don't get more than this of someone worried, thinking, she hasn't come back. Everything that's happened in the capital, I think she was going to the fight. I haven't heard of. She didn't come back. Has anyone else come back? That's what you get.
I relay this to everybody.
Okay.
Sounds like we're on the money with the fighting pit.
But if the theatre's all shut up and there's no one there, should we go check there first?
I imagine it's closer.
Maybe.
At this point, it is it will get further away as you continue.
Maybe we should.
So I'll see which way you want to go.
Yeah, let's poke our heads in.
All right, you about turn and make your way in towards the centre of the city, keeping to the side streets as best you can. However, your collective stealth is well enough that you're not stopped. You do see, as you get closer, the enforcers and the magistrates are out in force, and it's a disconcerting sight because you actually narrowly avoid there's a point where Low Bay taps you on the shoulder and goes, this way, and you pull away as nonchalantly as you can. As you glance back, you can see a magistrate and 6 enforcers are making their way down 3 streets, marching in lockstep unison. None of them talking, but all of them just looking at.
Got the thought. Can we tell if these are undead? Having seen like armies and militarized undead before, can we tell if
That's a good
what we're
question,
seeing?
actually, yeah.
Roll an insight check.
Can I roll a slightly different one?
Yes.
I want to compare them to the behaviour we saw with Magnus's hive mind thing.
Roll an
And see
insight
if
check.
it feels the same.
But
Is that okay to be
These
a
are
separate check?
insight checks with separate information.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 22.
Okay.
That's a 15, so
Okay.
not so good.
22. They're living. They appear to you can. The enforcers are garbed head to toe in armor, but you can see the telltale signs of breathing. They do appear to be alive. While their movements are unified, there is an uncanniness to the way that they are looking around, looking around silently, and one of them will turn their head, and two others will turn their heads and start moving in a direction before then shifting away and then continuing their search. They don't have that either jerkiness or unnatural fluidity of zombies or skeletons, or other forms of sort of sort of militarized undead that you've seen. Though there is something reminiscent of a sort of reclamation core necromantic repeater, like in the arrangement, but they do not appear to be undead. The most animated looking one is the magistrate, but even they are not even they aren't talking much, except when they stop and ask a question of someone they pass, gather an answer, and then continue onwards. Celestia, a 15. You can't be certain. You don't get as much of a look, but there is a definite rhyme, almost in the behaviour of these enforcers and Magnus's weird little hive mind. Like that, there is something that feels very similar to you.
I think they're sharing thoughts somehow.
Yeah, I don't think they're undead.
Something similar to
reassuring,
Magnus's
but
lot,
okay.
but I don't know what exactly.
Well, there's certain types of magic that allow people to bond telepathically, aren't there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, didn't you
It
folks
feels
mention that
really
Oksana
raw.
did it to you once?
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
This feels almost like not even just sharing thoughts, but sharing a mind. It's so precise.
It's so weird.
I don't like it.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Well, that does at least tell us one thing. Those things can't be being controlled directly by Magnus. They'd be
No.
all over the place, wouldn't they?
But they could be being controlled by someone.
Yes.
If they're like
So
his hive
who?
mind, there was a person at the centre of that, right?
Yeah, so
Who was doing all the
then?
thinking. Don't know.
Could be a different person now. Yeah. Or in
Could just be
first
the head of
incident,
each
but-
troop, you know?
Could be,
Yeah.
yeah.
It could be that simple, horribly.
Like whites and ghouls.
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking, yeah.
You make your way to the back of the theatre. The stage door is closed, and giving it a quick test, it appears to be locked as well.
Alright, who's good with locks?
That's not the question. The question is, are we going to immediately set off some law nonsense if
Oh,
we go
shit,
breaking
yeah.
in?
Are there any
Oh!
windows that are open?
Jeffrey,
Jeffrey. Yes.
you can't break the law, can you? Did we work that out that Jeffrey can't be held accountable?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you found that Jeffrey fits into a grey area in the law.
Yeah.
The law doesn't
Jeffrey,
know
would
what
you
to
like
do with
to
it.
open this door for us? Here's my safe door.
Go on, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey takes the lockpicks, and please roll a Thieves' Tools check for Jeffrey.
Meanwhile, we just shield them from view.
Yeah.
Okay, Now, I've got to remember, is Jeffrey proficient with these tools?
I think he is.
Have a look.
I feel like he's better than the rest of us with them. Like my brain's saying he's not only proficient, he's actually really extra good. He's either
That's
as
the
good
closest
or
thing we have to a rogue.
He's not as good as Scamp.
Oh,
but
right,
he is.
He is proficient, yeah.
He is proficient. He's got a +5.
That's fucking decent.
So that's a dirty 20.
Wow.
Jeffrey doing the equivalent of monkey
Worst
cackling to
sounds
himself.
today.
Just works at the lock, and then we hear a little as he successfully manages to pick the fairly straightforward back door lock to the stage door lock to the theatre. He hops off it, and you're able to pull it, swing it open, and you see a set of steps leading down into the dim undercrofts of the theatre, and you smell blood. And we're going to find out what else you see after these, no doubt important, messages.
Hey, have you heard about the... Oh, well, I'm not really supposed to talk about it, but... hypothetically, if there were a place where you could just beat the shit out of each other with no consequence, that'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? Too bad that doesn't exist.
Welcome back. Now, as you step in, as you open the door, you see the steps leading down. You get the scent of blood and faintly of sweat.
So I rolled for underground, and Celestia actually properly freezes for a sec. Like, just you all start walking down, and she just clocks out and stays at the top for a second.
Corzin will gently take their hand and wait.
Thanks. It'll pass.
All right, just stay close.
Le Bay kind of goes slightly ahead of you, seeing that you're pulling up the rear. Which means Shanty kind of goes with Victory and Scamp towards the front. Although, Shanty is a half-orc, and thus, like the Orcish Thebaean, and everyone except Corzin, except also including Corzin, because of the Belt of Eyes, does have dark vision. That's light is nice. So she turns her phone on and switches it on to the
magical
light
device.
cantrip and just shines a torch ahead of you.
Shanty's so
That is at
fucking
least-
sensible.
That is at
That
least
was
one
my first
cantrip
cantrip.
all phones can
Yeah.
do.
Yes. You
Not
begin.
shit on your parade, actually, but that does sort of announce our presence as we come down these stairs, doesn't it?
That. Actually, that's a good point. She turns the light off.
Jeffrey, stay close. I know you don't see so well in the dark.
Jeffrey clambers up into your shoulder.
How do the sounds get worse every day?
Wouldn't it be nicer if you could just talk?
No.
Oh well.
That would not be nice.
I know,
What is wrong
Jeffrey,
with you? It's going to be terrible when we can awaken things.
I'll take it in my stride.
So
Just
bad.
you wait.
You make your way down the steps. The steps don't go down, they do go down probably the equivalent of one maybe two basement levels. You get the feeling that this basement is you're going to a sub basement level a bit. It's buried The theatre is already built on a slightly raised bit of ground, so it goes down. So you're probably only descending about 20 feet or so. But as you get about halfway down the stairs, well, the torch has already been turned off. So the pair of you at the back. Who is at the very back? Celestia or Corzin?
Celestia.
Then Corzin. You're the first one to feel this as you get about halfway down the steps.
Oh no.
First of all, you have a moment of disorientation as all but two of your eyes start to suddenly disrupt and blink out.
Oh, what the fuck?
And you feel that sense of sideways wrongness and tugging again, but much, much weaker this time. You have this strange sense, and as you're walking down as well, Scamp and Victory feel this, but you have to get a little bit closer for you to notice it. The sense of magic being disrupted by a sort of pull. Much like being close, like the spirit trap did, but a lot weaker.
I unholster my pistol. Something ain't right down here.
I don't like it.
Seeing you do this, Lobe draws and loads her crossbow.
I'm going to draw my pistol, actually.
Yeah,
it's really unusual, but I'm going to.
As you step down a couple more steps, you also feel the wrongness and the sense that magic isn't working here.
But there's not the sense of threat of separation in the same way?
Oh, the pull is there, but it's weak enough that you and the Rainbow Spirit can resist it. You feel like
Doesn't feel good, though, I imagine.
It's not good. You can tell that whatever's down here wants to do what the spirit trap was trying to do. It's just not able. As you get to the base of the stairs, well, first things first, Corzin, you can't see in the dark anymore.
Yeah.
So you are working. So without a light source, you are working off the bit of reflected light from the door.
I was going to say my hand will instinctively go out and start feeling along the wall.
Shanti looks down. Ah, shit, my phone's dead.
Magic's is broken.
Yeah, does it work on magic?
Well, I mean, no, interestingly, the screen is still actually, it's a good point.
Because you have no battery or no service.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, because some of it works on magic, some of it doesn't. It's a complex one, because the phones that she has are complex sort of techno-magic. So weirdly...
That was Celestial legitimately asking, having no idea.
She looks down and she's friends well, it's still on, but she holds up her screen. And it's weird. You can see that the phone is still backlit, producing a small amount of light. But the icons have gone, because the icons were displayed through illusion magic.
That's interesting.
So... Because that was the approach they took to make them.
Fair.
That's actually kind of clever.
Yeah.
So the light you're getting is through the door, which is actually a good point. Shanti glanced like, do we want to close that?
Yes, probably should.
We just hop back up. Close. You got a brief moment of not feeling the straight sense of wrongness. Close the door, and then head back down. It's now very dark in here, Corzin. So I guess those of you who can see in the dark, you get the outlines of what's down here. You can tell... Alright. This basement has been, or at least had been, reconstructed, kitted out as essentially a fighting pit. of some sort. You can see boards on the walls, what looks like it might be bits of paper. You can't read what they say. You have no sense of like. There's no light sense here. You only get presence and absence of objects. You'll need to turn on a light. You'll need a light of some description to be able to actually read them. You can tell that in the center of the room there is what appears to be a huge cage of, you would guess, metal, with a which appears to have had its door torn open. There is some sort of shattered, broken-looking object or machine. You can't really make it out in detail. You're only getting the shape that is in there, kind of cast out, partly on the floor, partly leant against the edge of the cage, and small scattered objects there. You would guess from the shape of the ground that there's sort of sand in the middle of that cage, and what looks like a whole bunch of broken sort of chairs of like simple crude chair varieties that were gathered around this place. There are a couple of sort of doors at the edges of the room that seem to lead somewhere. You don't know where. They're opaque. And it looks like... And you can smell old sweat and fresh blood everywhere. And although there's obvious signs of fighting here, no bodies. Also, as you get closer to the center of the room, the sense of wrongness gets stronger. Like the sense of that pull.
Where the hell is that coming from?
I don't know, I don't like it.
If you can find it, we can break it. Do you think you can follow it safely?
I don't know.
Because I'm not getting it in the same way. It feels weird, but it's not the same. It's not like a pull, like...
I look at the rainbow spirit. What do you think?
I mean, I can tell it's coming from the center. I guess we could, like...
Do you think we could keep it together?
I'm willing to try if you are.
Yeah, if it feels
like
we're not going to, then yeah.
You don't need to get close to it. Like, you just tell me which direction, and I'll see if I can see anything.
In the middle.
In the middle, okay.
The middle is where the cage is.
I'll go get in the cage.
Okay. So you don't. So Celestia, you don't approach the cage.
No, not if I've been given another option, to be honest.
Okay, Scamp, you make your way into the center of. It's easy. It's easy enough to get into the cage. The cage door has been wrenched open. Inside, it's a little clearer. Again, there is that strange broken bit of machinery. Up close, you get a sort of a visual inspection. It looks like a frame, like not. There's a moment where you wonder if it's some sort of torture instrument, but it looks more like it was meant to like hold, like some sort of household machinery or like a tool. Kind of, it vaguely reminds you like slightly of the frame of like a loom or something, but or maybe of like a really bulky like artist's easel or something like that. But it's obviously, you get the feeling that some key part of it in the center is missing. There's obviously some places where one or two things are. Yeah, you probably guess two things are meant to sit, but it's not really clear what it is. You can tell amongst the sand. Now that you're closer, the little objects scattered are a mixture of what appear to be those little hourly type wooden coins, and also feathers.
Huh.
Feathers?
Yeah.
That's weird.
What kind of feathers are they?
It's real hard to tell because you don't have unless any of you have a light source.
Are we talking like the feathers that you get, like the main feathers in a wing, or like
Or
the
a
down,
pillow.
like, or just like in terms of shape?
If you pick one up and like kind of run it, like looking at the broad shape ring of things, it feels like wing feathers. You'd probably say, yeah. Thinking about the type of feathers this would be.
That's quite a big loss for a bird. There's a bunch of feathers here. That's weird.
That is weird. Really weird. A lot of things with very few answers.
Thing here. Some sort of thing. Does this look like it's going to be the source of this?
It doesn't. It doesn't at all resemble the spirit trap that you saw in the other room.
Is there anything about it that looks like it is a magical thing having some sort of influence?
I'll put a dancing light above them.
You try and...
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah,
I do. I unthinkingly do it.
You move your hand, the rainbow spirit tries to assist, and you just feel the magic like pulled away.
Corzin's
think-
got to have like a little lantern in his pack somewhere. He'll be rooting around for that.
Yeah, you. In fact, you do. You have your timekeeper candles
That's true.
from the void.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So and matches. So you managed to
Yeah.
light a little lantern. Okay. Now you are able to see around the room. I guess you kind of have to like turn the lantern to look at different things. So, but I will say that you can see that the pieces of paper look to be posters on the wall. Some with art, some with names. You can see. You can kind of see that the floor is mostly stone. What looks to be carved and then smoothed out. Apart from the center where the cage is, which is all sand inside the cage, and you can clearly now more clearly see the two doors leading. Oh, there's three doors if you include the stairs that you came down, but the two other doors leading out of this place. One of which is you can see is. Looking more cracked and slightly ajar. The other of which is appears to be securely closed. And I'm going to say you can choose to bring your light to any of these parts to get a bit more information.
I will do so.
Okay, what do you want to look at first? Cage, posters, doors.
I want to look at the cage.
Okay, coming up to the cage, yeah, you can see there is, it was white sand. It's long stained with, it looks like it's long stained with bits of blood, but also very recently stained with a lot of fresh blood.
No.
Did someone just sacrifice a chicken here? Or
By the
something?
way, as you get close to the cage, as soon as you come like right up, almost approaching it, the sense of wrongness sharply increases, like you're at the center of it, and you feel it's now strong enough to almost wrench at wrench. Can I ask for your choice of either a dex save to pull back or a charisma save to resist the
dex save,
I
definitely.
suppose I have any time to give him inspiration. Might be a bit quick.
A little bit
Cool.
quick, but you can after this. So roll your dex save, please.
Okay, that's a 28.
Yeah, you pull back. You backpedal 3 steps back, and you.
Nope, definitely not. Nope.
And the pull is no longer strong enough to risk.
Yeah,
Alright,
we
I think
gotta
what's
stay out of
wrong
there.
down here is coming from that cage.
Can you tell what? Or is it just the cage itself? What's the source?
Roll a wisdom check, Corzin.
Okay.
Because this is to do with perception in its own way.
Okay. Okay, well, if it's wisdom, that's a 7, but if it's actual perception, then that's a...
Non-visual
13.
perception.
Yeah, no,
So
okay, it's a 7 then.
Okay. What? No.
Well, yeah, perception rather than
30.
just not visual. So you don't get...
Oh, okay, if it's perception, then that's a 13.
Feels like dead center of the cage in some way, but you can't. With the 13, you can't get more than that.
Yeah, definitely the center of the cage. I don't know if it's the cage itself or whatever's in the middle of it. Can you see?
Can I have a little look around the middle?
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
hand
you
them the lantern.
With the lantern, you can now also see in more detail when you were talking about killing a chicken. Yeah, these are chicken feathers. These appear to be chicken feathers now that you can see them up close.
Are they just like when they say fighting? Are they just fighting roosters down here? Is it cockerels?
Is it like a real life version of that game we play sometimes when we're a bit tired, where we say like, "Would you fight a chicken like, like every day?" Or like a gorilla, like once a year. Are they just doing that? Like every day they roll a dice and they see if you fight a chicken or a gorilla.
So quite frankly, I'll take the gorilla because who's got the energy to fight something every day?
Well,
I don't think I can add an element to my routine and remain alive, you know?
Absolutely not.
Rather
No,
take
I'll
my
get
chances once a
into an
year.
absolute pulp pie gorilla once a year, thank you.
I like that we've made the party play that game canonically now
Yeah.
as well, and that pleases me. It's a
You can
real
also
dumb
see
game.
the object, the machine. Weirdly, now that you can see it in color and in light, Corzin, you immediately recognize this. Bizarre as it is, though it's missing its parts, this is a mangle. Like, this is like a clothes drying
Like
mangle.
a washing mangle.
Missing its rollers.
Huh. That's super
And
weird.
also smashed up. But, like, you look at this and you're like, that, yeah, no, you recognize this.
that's weird.
Well, they're just putting chickens through a mangle. What's wrong
Oh,
with these people? Is there nothing better to do here?
that is a terrible image. I'm glad I wasn't here for that, to be honest. Ugh. Gross.
Scamp, roll an investigation check, please.
That's a really bad way to make pate.
Oh, Corzin.
Ian, Victory, can you come and help me?
Yeah. Sure, as long as I don't need to make any pate.
Oh, fuck. Stop talking about it. You're all making it worse.
Okay.
Oh, come on! Well, that's a whole 11.
Victory's already giving you assistance. I guess you did know they were going to do it, so you could give inspiration. If you
I
wanted,
would
but,
love to, actually. I've meant to and I've forgotten. So, just to give you a little, like, fearful salute, and there's, a little rainbow flash.
Which, like, is weirdly almost, like, immediate... The flash is almost immediately sucked away, but you still do feel that little sense of encouragement.
Ooh, that didn't feel good. Just need to stop
What
forgetting.
dice is it these days?
D12, I think. Yes, D12.
Thank you. Oh, wow, it's a whole 13 now.
Oh god, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I tried to help.
I'm gonna ask... Alright, can you roll a d10 for me, please?
Boop, 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 ba-doop, boop, 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 boop. 9.
9. Got it. I'm just going to keep something on hand.
Oh dear.
So the right. So you kind of sketch. You scuff around a bit, sort of searching, and it probably takes you. Are you willing to like just spend 10 minutes on this?
Well, we're not going anywhere until it's gone, so because
Yeah.
the other two can't get close.
With that kind of the pair of you begin searching every inch of this cage. The bars just appear to be made of like iron, maybe steel. You can't really tell at a glance. probably iron, based on the fact that they appear to be wrenched outwards by whatever did this. But you do find some fragments of clothing. Interestingly, I'm going to say you find. Well, we'll get back to that thing. You find what appears to be. You notice a bit of something snagged on a chair at one point, like near the cage, but not in it. What appears to be some a couple of like a sort of bit of paper covered in scrawling that is largely torn up and now quite stained with blood. But you also, after a lot of sifting, realise, and you can't take a piece of the broken mangle and start running it through the sand, kind of looking for anything that might be hidden in there. You make connection with something, and then start. As you, upon doing that, you and Victory begin sort of kneel down and start literally just like brushing sand away with your hands, because like Victory kind of mutters, "Normally just blow some air at this thing." I'm sort of. But as you start scraping it away, you see the top of what appears to be a metallic pillar with engravings not dissimilar to those of the Cloudstone pillar that was the spirit trap.
Let's start getting rid of that.
Yeah.
Okay, how would you like to destroy this?
And I can't use magic. So
I've got a gun. Do you want it?
Scratch at it. Absolutely not. That is a very good way. I would shoot myself in the hoof the day how this day's going. Although, let's drag it out and then you can shoot it while I'm not anywhere near it. And then it'll ricochet off and one of us will get shot. But let's do it anyway.
Alright. It takes you it takes about 5 minutes to excavate this from the ground, from the dirt, the sand, and you pull up when I say like a homemade looking version of the spirit trap, this isn't like that conjures up images of being janky. It's beautifully made, but it's not made with Cloudstone. It looks like this has been put together from some mage metals.
That's worse. He's been teaching people how to make them.
But mostly it looks like it's made from.
He hasn't shared his information. We know he's taught no one else.
Yeah.
He's made this.
You can see that he's replaced portions with steel, silver, and gold instead. So it's got quite a ceremonial, sort of impressive look. He's even given it like little dwarven patterns for flourish. But it's definitely a copy and not the original.
We feel like he made it.
Yeah. It has that Magnus
we
Red
have been
folder
told
style.
that he purposefully didn't share his knowledge.
Okay.
He wanted to stay
Yeah.
humble.
I'd forgotten that.
So we
Thank you
know
for the
that-
reminder.
Yeah, we do at least know that he's not.
That's good.
He's the only enchanter in this place.
Yeah. As soon as this comes out, Celestia's just like as far away as possible.
Corzin, do the shooting. Corzin, do a shooting, please.
Alright. And, Corzin is going to, based on what happened before, how close can I get to this thing before, the effect starts to pull me in again?
Once you get within 15 feet.
Grand, okay, I'll stay 15 feet away.
Lovely.
16 feet away, shall we say.
Yes.
I will load my blunderbuss with a slug round.
Actually, I'll go a little further back than Corzin, but have a shooty shoot as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Want to smash.
Both of you make an attack roll, please.
Okay.
Try use my gun again.
That's a 22 to hit.
Gun.
Yep. Roll damage.
So that's
Okay.
8. It's like an 18 to hit, so one assumes it does.
That's 18 percussive damage.
D8. No, D10.
Yeah, pistol.
Literally never use my gun. That's plus what?
Your dexterity.
Plus my dex. That is...
You proficient?
Yes. So plus dex, but not plus proficiency for the damage, just plus dex. 10. I really don't use this gun.
Alright, together, the pair of you, fire a shot into it, and you feel the mechanism, the delicate circuitry of the enchantment splinter apart. The blunderbuss shot smashes it into pieces. You forget sometimes how loud a gunshot is until you fire a pair of them in a silent and creepy basement.
Yeah.
That's a noise.
Yep.
But that is enough not only to damage it but to destroy it. With as the lead shatters the spirit trap. Again, you feel the pull wrenching at your spirits cease, and again a little less this time, but a smattering of colours and lights to the pair of you emerge as you see a handful of trapped spirits burst free and up and out through the theatre.
Go, be free.
Ooh. Oh, I hate this. I hate it.
However, the sense of wrongness dissipates immediately, and there is a sort of do sound as Chanty's phone turns back on and the light
I feel like we all
emerges.
fucking piss ourselves. Oh, I didn't know it made a noise when it came on.
That was a terrible noise.
That was really loud.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Nothing's fine. I'm lying. Everything is so not fine.
On the bright side, it is now a lot easier to look around the room as well. Now that you are not in darkness. So you see the bit of bloodstained paper on the chair nearby. You can investigate that more as you wish.
Yeah.
You're also now more clearly able to see the posters.
I'm going to have a look at the posters, actually.
Yeah, the posters appear to be advertising what appears to be they have names, they have images sketched on them. It appears to be advertising a champion prize fight between what appear to be a pair of masked orcish wrestlers.
Oh, love it.
From the way they're depicted. And you can see one of it's got like a versus in the middle, and one is labelled Chicken Pete with the subtitle He's Squawking Mad and The Mighty Mangler. And both of these are like hench figures. One of them is wearing like a full-face chicken mask, including like a red wattle and crest with bright red, white and red like wings coming off the arms on Pete's outfit. Which like you would guess
so confused,
at least they're drawn on, but maybe they were done with chicken feathers. The mighty mangler is dressed in a scullery maid's outfit with a full face mask shaped like a doily, wielding what appear to be a pair of rollers from a mangle as if they are clubs.
Was this one for the chicken or not? I just can't tell.
You can see in a corner where there was a table, with now turned over and scattered, a whole bunch of those like hourly coins. It looks like the betting pool. Maybe there are used ticket stubs around it, ground into the dirt.
Why do you can see the coins here then?
You can see there are other names on a board behind it, crossed out. What looks like previous matches, ranked as like a tournament with like winner losers. Other names including Kicking Caballo, the Kiteif Crusher, Prism Break, Chad Biscuit, Butcher Pete, not to be confused with Chicken Pete, the Great Garuda, Sergeant Smash, and one that's just called Greg.
Greg's my favourite.
Yeah.
I love Greg.
Greg's the best.
So, yeah, that... you can also now more clearly see the marks, like the scuff marks, the streaks of blood everywhere across the smooth stone, the walls, the signs of struggle, and that's anything else. And you can look into these areas for any more details you want.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a look and seeing if we can figure out what's actually happened. Like whether it's just from a wrestling match or whether it's from something
They
more
left in
sinister.
a hurry, didn't they?
Well, yeah, if all of these coins are here...
Roll an investigation check if you want to.
Yeah.
But, sorry, carry on, Corzin.
But hang on a moment.
Wait. It's terrible.
If they're beating 10 colours of shit out of each other, how are they not getting immediately flagged up to the enforcers or whatnot? Is that what this was for originally? And he points at the remnants of the spirit
magic,
trap.
isn't it?
Shit, they detect things by magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else is it going to be?
Yeah.
Got to be magic, isn't it?
That's what it is.
Ugh, well, that doesn't exactly make it better, but at least we've got more information than we did.
I was wondering how he's making so much money.
How do you
What?
mean?
Well, I mean, like, Shanti kind of, like, shrugs, like, yeah, like, you know, he's got a whole, like, you know, obviously he's got the monopoly on enchantment, but, like, how many people, how often actually need, like, you know, a magic doodad? Like, in a place like this. You've got to have something coming in day by day.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Underground boxing ring.
That'd fucking do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Although I think here people probably will pay a stupid amount of money for magic because there isn't much of it.
But also
As
because
you
there's
get
not
big
much of it,
elitist stuff and
people
stuff
won't
like
ask for it as much. If that makes any sense.
Well, as soon as you introduce it as a thing that is elitist and is only for the most important people, then suddenly you've got
Demands.
yeah.
No, you have a point.
Yeah.
Ugh, I fucking hate him. I hate him so much. Ugh. I know that I'm preaching to the choir here.
Celestia, you look around with an 8 on investigation. Unless
Celestia's like trying to have a Columbo moment, but
Yeah.
is still
Yeah.
like dissociating from everything that's happening. So it doesn't go that well.
Yeah, unless anyone else wants to help you, then
I will help.
I mean, absolutely. Well,
okay. You
I mean,
can-
I think
I've just already rolled quite
Celestia's
poorly.
doing some good acting in terms of like acting okay, but if you know her very well, you know she isn't. So if you see her
yeah.
kind of trying to investigate, you can probably figure out that like everything is not normal.
with
I will
Corzin's
assist.
assistance, you are able to roll again and take the higher of the two results.
Cool. That's like so much higher. That's adorable. My dad comes to help me, and I get a 21 instead
Okay.
of my 8.
Corzin honestly does most of the searching here.
Yeah,
and-
you're really pulling the weight
yeah,
right now.
which is a lot easier now that his eyes have flicked back into existence.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was
Like,
pretty- yeah.
Yeah, and you can actually see everything again. You look around. So first thing is you find you piece together. You're able to piece together from looking around some of what happened. The door in was locked. There was no sign, and you find like Scrabble marks on the stairs and blood on one side of the door you came in on. You see scuff marks on the ground, and the way that things are torn apart, you realise people were being pulled towards the more damaged of the two doors down here.
Oh no.
The door up to the theatre, you can see some scratch marks on it, but it looks like it never got opened. The other door you kind of cautiously pull open, and you can see it leads to a trap door, which has been roughly shut after it, but which, pulling it open, it's not locked. Leads to some stairs going down to a series of what looks like some sort of tunnel below. You also find a second bit of wad of paper. It looks like it's been, from the looks of it, almost looks like it was grabbed and pulled out of something as part of a struggle, and then sort of left to one side and forgotten. So there are 2 pieces of paper with writing you can investigate.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Yes, please.
Can you roll a d10 and please disregard a 9? Either one of you, but only one, please.
You do it, Ellie.
Okay. So what am I actually? What
D10.
doing?
Ignore it if it's a 9.
It's a 9.
Roll again.
Okay. 3.
3. Got it. 9 and 3. Okay, so you find. So these are the 2. So Scamp found a piece of paper next to the chairs. Celestia, you find a piece of paper on kind of coming its way out. There are bits and pieces like around these bits, but they are torn up. They're difficult. They are bloodstained. You are able to read a neat writing in Dwarven, which, thanks to the enchantment, and those of you who just know it, you are able to read in a neat hand. Now, you have a choice here. I can read this either way, or you can read this out loud. Either way, copies of this are going into the chat.
I
Excellent.
feel like you got robbed of a lot of talking as Magnus, and it might be nice if you read it. How does everybody else feel?
Fair. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I mean, this is me obviously
All
assuming
right.
that it's Magnus's voice, but
This is, in which case, this is going to be the piece that Scamp finds first. Food alone forces me from this place of wonders. I would that I could stay here forever, but the thralls, even the pets I brought with me, are exhausted. I know that I found this place by chance, and the paths shift and turn. But I will not be able to return the same way. Perhaps I will never return again. Still, all that I can copy and memorize here I have, and it is but a scratch upon the surface of such lost lore. Yet I suppose even that has value. If I'm ever truly cornered, I could always barter away the knowledge that I alone possess for my life. It's not as if there's any way to get to it without finding this archive. That's all you're able to piece together from the first piece of text. The second scrap, which I'll paste into the chat,
thank you for putting them in the chat. Oh, it's really helpful
right.
to be able to read along.
Yes, much obliged.
is as follows. Disaster! The Master is no more, his truth revealed by sunlight, even here in the sheltering earth. Not even for his nature, but mere politics. One of the heralds of this new empire, here to sway the intercessor into becoming a part of the Union. Revenge can wait. Survival first. With the Master gone, all his children are free. And freedom, as they say, is freedom's greatest enemy. Now I must prevail against my siblings, for all our sakes. And that's all you're able to make out of that bit of journal.
Is that all the scraps?
Written do these look?
You found 2 scraps.
That's a good
Do
question.
these look freshly written, or are they old?
These look old. You would say that the you would guess that the second. It's a little hard to say actually. These look old, but roll a history check.
Ooh, dirty 20.
Okay. So,
Rolled a 19.
these look old. However, you know that most texts that are like written in ink on paper tend not to survive more than a century or than a couple of centuries without very careful preservation. So these, so the text, the books, so these bits of paper look like they could be a century old, but they're probably copied from an even older journal. Like, you would guess if this is as would seem obvious, Magnus's writings, then he must have periodically recopied out his journal like once a century or so, because that's the only way you could really keep that if it's a working document.
Just checking that one of them wasn't written last night or something.
Yeah.
They don't look like they've been written freshly. These look like they were at the very least last copied decades ago. Like the ink's got that kind of like faded look.
Can I ask a drow question?
You can.
The union that it was said that the intercessor was swaying the intercessor to become part of the union. Do I have any concept as to what that could be?
No, absolutely. This is like.
I just wondered if it was something that I'd know.
No, this is like English kids learning that Henry VIII had 6 wives. Or like learning about William the Conqueror. In fact, very much like learning about William the Conqueror. It is almost like a storybook bit of the foundation of the Empire of Ariadnea that the Empress convinced your mother opined would opine that convinced probably involved at least some warfare, but it seems legitimate enough. Convinced the 8 cities of the Underdark to join her empire willingly.
Okay.
She never outright conquered any of them.
Well, that's interesting then.
There was probably some conquest, but at least ostensibly, the unions were, and no doubt more than a bit of assassination, but at least ostensibly the unions were voluntary, at least on the part of the temples.
That journal seems to imply that it's a different way around than I understood it.
What is it?
So, drow shit, right? Basically, it's sort of common knowledge, like in a sort of like child history way, that the Drow Empress supposedly convinced, to the
quotation mark fingers.
Convinced the 8 cities of the Underdark to join the Empire, to like make a union. That's what that union is.
Right.
But this seems to imply that somebody else convinced her to join the union, if we're assuming that she was here and she's the intercessor that they're talking about before she was Empress.
Well, don't the Drow also have that thing about how as soon as they went underground, they made a deal with the spider gods that were already down there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole story, isn't it? That they were gonna, fucking die because they couldn't grow any crops and shit, and the spiders were like, oh, grow breath leaf and be happy, worshippers and shit. All that bollocks. Ah, fuck, I wish there were windows in here. Anyway,
So the union was based on maybe the worship of these deities administered by the Empress?
I don't know. I mean, was the union to do with the spider gods? Like, is that part of it?
So, you know from your, like,
because Drow were there before the Empress and before the union, right?
You know from your, like, from childhood, the Drow came to the Underdark. Your childhood stories de-emphasize the got forced into the Underdark aspect of it, but
they make it slightly the High Elves' fault a little bit.
Yeah, they very much blame the High Elves for it.
Yeah,
and were not sad to see the Tyrian Empire fall.
Yeah,
but they were forced into the Underdark. made their pacts with the spider goddesses and built the cities, and the cities warred against each other, like in bitter rivalry and strife, so the legend goes, until the Drow Empress showed up and convinced them all to join the Union.
Yeah. I relate this. Celestia wouldn't really say it. Just, like, imagine that, but with a bit more sarcasm.
Yeah.
Basically.
Sarcasm
like,
up to 11.
Like, the story's not different, it's just begrudgingly told.
Sure, yeah. Alright, that's odd. Alright.
Yes, but this seems to imply that was the other way. I mean, it's not that much of a shocker that some of Drow history is bullshit, potentially, is it? Let's be honest.
No,
Written by the winners. But that's... that means that this has been going on... and he, like, gestures broadly to everything. That means this has been going on for at least 2,000 years.
Where'd you get that from? Out of character?
Well,
I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just struggling.
Yeah, no, if it's the Empress, and the Empress has been in the position that she's in for at least 2,000 years.
Empress has been in the position she's been in for roughly 800 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's...
okay,
the
right.
Empire
That
is
was my out-of-character misunderstanding.
It's rough timeline. Year dot is the revelation of the Regent, like according to the Regency calendar.
Yeah.
Year about mid 700s is Petroleone unifying most of Jova. Around about the 1,000 year mark, we have the Union of the Underdark.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Empress is appointed or appoint herself, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so wind back of that slightly.
Yeah.
So this means that all of this has been going on for at least 800 years?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Are there any more bits of paper like that? Anything else?
Let's have a look, see if we can find some more.
You aren't able to find any more here. However, if you... and I will say that having kind of searched through, you've found as much as... you kind of take another 20 minutes to really like finish scouring this area, but you're not able to find anything new beyond what you've already discovered.
Can I have a little listen with my brain? With
Yeah.
thought magic.
Cast it. Okay, I will say...
Doing detect thoughts
You do detect
in
thoughts.
manner
Yep.
of a metal detect.
Do it, yeah.
Detecting
It's
whether
worked
there are
before.
thoughts.
So you have about a minute or so moving around this route, like this whole area. You do not detect the presence of any minds that you would not expect.
But just us, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I can't hear anyone. I mean, like, brain hear anyone, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I wonder who this master was on this bit of paper.
That's what I want to know, see?
Was that like one of the original like parts of the Empire, or was it just someone who one of these heralds bumped into? So this is like Big Boss Vampire. So when Big Boss Vampire goes, the ones they make for their children are free? In what way free? And he decided to kill them all because they're more dangerous, or what?
Well, is
They
it
lose
like
their minds?
is it like with whites and ghouls? If the white dies, the ghouls are not bound to that white anymore. They can do whatever they like.
Yeah.
Hang
I
on.
wonder if it's like that.
Hang on.
What?
Is the Drow Empress a vampire?
That's a disturbing possibility. I hadn't thought.
She lives underground, mate.
Lives underground.
That's
lives
a really
longer
good
than
place.
the projected lifespan of a person. That's
Church
starting to
is
make
pretty
a lot
into
of
like
sense.
blood sacrifice and stuff.
And we already know there are other vampires in the Underdark.
Yep.
And we think she's probably a sorcerer. Is there any reason a sorcerer couldn't be a vampire too?
Not as far as we understand, but we don't understand, do we? So it's hard to know.
Well, I mean, again, this is all, like, legends. Until relatively recently, we didn't know for definite that vampires were actually a thing in reality, but
Yeah.
I've heard some stories that state that when a person's turned into a vampire, they retain more or less the same, at least, knowledge and personality that they had in life, but it's twisted and evil now.
Drow Empress might be a fucking vampire, mightn't she?
It's a worrying possibility.
Today, and things I didn't want to think about. That would make a lot of sense, though, wouldn't it?
It would, rather.
Seems risky to build your entire empire on like specific gods when they're so dangerous to vampires, though.
True, actually. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be overthinking it.
Well, it would seem that the thing that the deities get out of it is worshippers and things that make them stronger.
Yeah, but vampires can't even be like around religious stuff. It's bad for them.
Yeah. Unless there is some
Hard to be a head of a church.
specific boon that she gets that means that isn't a problem anymore.
Low Bay looks a little antsy.
What's happening?
This is very interesting, but I'm conscious that it looks like there was a whole fucking... sorry, Low Bay doesn't swear.
There's a massacre
there was a whole
down here.
massacre down here.
No, there wasn't. There was
So-
a taking of a lot of potential victims down here who might still be alive or turned into vampires. So we really should maybe move.
We really should.
We should.
Yeah,
Agreed.
you're right.
Let's move as quickly as we can. Okay. In which case, I'm going to say you can roll either an investigation or a survival check for looking for
Oh,
information
what a difference in numbers.
or tracking.
Okay, that's a 17 for me. Investigation, sorry, I should have specified. Celestia's rubbish at survival.
And to answer your other question, primeval awareness is just going to give you presence or absence. Yeah, it won't necessarily give you advantage on
Right, yeah.
tracking. So
12 investigation.
cool.
I'll go for that as well.
Oh, we need to level up so I can get some actual scores that are decent.
That's a 7.
Oh, God.
Okay. Is that
It's
your...
a rough one from all of us, isn't it?
I guess. Let's see.
I've got a +1 or a +0.
Oh wow.
I'm
Okay.
not good at things.
I mean, Low Bay gets like a 10 on her survival
God.
check, so she also rolled low.
Shit all round.
You
Shall I roll for Jeffrey?
no, don't worry.
Someone does
You
that.
descend into a series of tunnels that you realise in places are chiselled out, but by and large appear to be not exactly natural, but have a strangely sort of smooth, in places broken up, in other places smooth, borrowing to them. And as you move down, you see like strange, almost like casings of metal on like in bands along the wall at points. Low Bay touches one of them. These are Quaker tunnels. They leave minerals they leave metals and mineral deposits in their wake.
Right.
Alright.
Is that bad?
Eyes peeled.
I mean, yeah, because we could bump into one.
Yeah, I suppose that is bad, isn't it?
Still though, there's bits of blood here and there as well. Maybe we'll need to spread out and search, but perhaps I can see I think they went this way. You begin
Right.
moving, keeping an eye out for any signs of tracing. Unfortunately, the tunnels split. It looks like the Quakers, however they are digging in search of presumably minerals or food. and not with clear organization in mind. So they start going, they start branching, they start going in weird directions. You get lost. I'm going to say you basically lose over an hour wandering through these.
If we're going in it's like a maze, we probably want to start just leaving some sort of trail so we know when we're coming back on a track.
Normally I would mark the wall with prestidigitation, but magic's weird, so that might not be the best idea.
Corzin will do it manually with a blade.
But yeah, you mark the walls.
I can just mould earth as we go.
Yeah.
Good idea.
And it does at least mean that you are able to go back on yourselves, because you do get lost. The tunnels go in a series of directions. On one occasion, you find a crumbled portion where part of someone's basement actually partly goes into this tunnel. It looks like no one's used that particular basement for some time.
It's like we're in Nottingham.
But it's there's a lot of subsidence in areas where there's been a lot of mining. It's a real danger. Got to check when buying your houses in Nottingham, and coal country and so on. There's another portion where there's actually a little bit of water dribbling in through a weak wall. Not through a weak wall, but a weak bit of ceiling. And Lobay looks up and winces. I think we might actually be right under a canal here.
Oh boy.
Let's not stay.
Good thing we can all breathe water. It's a totally normal thing that everyone can do.
Could not hate that more, to be honest. I'm just going to pretend I'm not here for a minute.
You do, however, stumble back up on the trail again as Lobby goes, wait, no, more blood, this way. And as you go, you find signs of more struggles. There's a point where Lobby can almost point out from a scattered shoe, like a fallen shoe, signs of something or someone being smacked up against the wall. You can almost see an imprint of blood there, where someone tried to flee and didn't make it.
Right.
You also, though, see that in the scuffle, another piece of paper, a few pieces, but some of them are just utterly ruined from blood or damp cave dampness, or torn apart in the scuffle. Have fallen, but you're able to collect two disparate pieces of journal. Can I ask? It's Celestia last time, Ellie last time. So let's go, Sam, and work back around the circle. Sam and Robbie, both roll a d8, please.
Okay. 1.
7.
Okay, so. Which of you would like to read your piece of paper read first?
Shall we start with 1?
Okay. So this is this piece. You actually see what looks like the start or close to the start of a book, based on the fact that you are able to get you can see a bit of torn old leather binding near this bit of legible text.
The one before we had was 3 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
Right, cool.
So we've got 9, 3, 1, 7.
What a city! To think the Drow have turned their exile into places of power within only a handful of generations, as elves reckon it. It's a testament to their will and the profits of alliance with our clans. I confess I had little hope of advancing my craft amongst the old Red Folders, as their focus is more upon metalwork than enchantment. But what luck to have chanced upon an ancient Sternweaver master. He speaks little of the reasons for his exile from the rest of the clan, but glowingly of my work. He promises, if I can truly impress him, to grant me a gift that he says only he can bestow.
fuck's sake.
Made him a fucking vampire.
Yep.
Have a present. You die.
And then the other piece. Why? Why kill Moradin? Why their ceaseless war against the gods? I grew up hearing of the hate and spite of giants, but such things are lies for children. As one grown, I see now with the eyes of pragmatism, with the eyes of a crafter. What is Ichor, the blood of gods, if not a material unmatched, had you but the knowledge of how to work it? Here such knowledge lies. I have yet to master this new craft, but with it I have wrought a new work I could never have matched through understanding of metal and natural philosophy alone. A shield against one of the two forces capable of unmaking me. That is the power of Ichor.
Is that how you make Cloudstone?
Certainly seems to imply it, yeah.
And so the two forces able of making sunlight and gods, is that what that is?
I mean, maybe I'm guessing it's to do with spirit shit, right?
It has to
Yeah.
Gods.
because it was the
Yeah.
it was the giants were the only one who had this kind of ability to make this stuff.
Oh, I feel weird about Cloudstone now.
You carry on, and
Did he want all the
what is
spirits for crafting?
But if it's their blood, that's not spirit. What is it? So they don't have a physical.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's not like you could
Is he speaking
bind-
figuratively, though? If that makes sense.
I don't know.
can't tell.
Like, is there some sort of equivalent of spirit blood that he's referring to?
Not sure.
No idea.
Victory says with a wry grin, "Oh, we could always. I suppose we could always ask him. Try him down and ask him."
Shut up. Smart ass.
I'm sure he's real coherent right now.
Don't regret it.
The knowledge is probably still in his mind if you can rip it out.
Well, I'm not confident it is, darling, actually.
As you mull upon that, I will say, causing with your passive perception, being what it is, you hear a sound from up above, a sort of muffled sound. Something. I'm trying to think about the way to describe this. Like a rustling, like a distant rustling sound, but also you can almost, but also breathing, like a faint.
Hold up.
What?
Listen.
Can we hear it when he says?
You listen, and straining your ears, you can now faintly hear it. Corzin, you can actually almost faintly feel like like a rumble matching the out-breath faintly through your feet as you hear.
Can I like feel my hand around to see where it seems to be coming from?
Seems to be coming from the passageway up ahead, and then it stops.
Quite a sound like. Just a Just wondering.
Good question. Shall we stay very, very quiet?
Corzin nods.
Stealth checks for all, then, please.
Yep. 9.
Ooh, that's not bad for me. That's... Oh, it's stealth these days. That's...
That is
17.
another natural 20 on stealth,
Nice.
which is apparently the only thing I can do today. That is a 27.
Okay, so a 27. What was yours, Celestia?
17.
17. And Corzin?
9.
Oh, mate.
Scamp, you have that feeling that maybe you could tilt fate.
Okay. And like it might be worth it.
Well, let me just roll
I will
for
do
victory.
that.
It might well.
You the best.
And a D4, where's my D4's gone?
Ah. So I just wanted to join in.
Like a whole 1. Hooray.
Ugh.
No, it does bring it to a 10. I will say as you creep forwards, the less you brief, you didn't extinguishing any lights that you'd lit to like read with, and just working on your dark vision alone. You kind of carefully make your way around the winding point, and you see a sort of a slightly wider cavern where a few Quaker tunnels merged together and have slightly collapsed to create a central point. In the midst of that, you see the strange 6-limbed form of a rhinoceros-sized creature. Its body covered in thick armor plating, glinted. You can tell it would glint if there were light here. There's something about the shape and shine of it that you feel would be metallic in nature if you could see it. But from the outlines, you can see. But you can see its outline. You can see that this thing would be quite possibly a nightmarish and relentless predator.
Oh, God.
Were it not slumped on its side, 6 humanoid figures clutch to it. Several of them digging their faces into its flesh.
Oh, God.
And we're going to pick up there next time.
Ooh.
Thank you all very much for listening. Thank you all very much for playing. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s.
I always thought I would regret taking a voice, but his no sweat. Though if we get to him too late, we might all share this Fight Club's fate.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.